And I've noticed, even watching their games, and even when I called the first game, West Coast against North Melbourne, one thing I saw was the maturity in the playing group around when they put a +1 behind the ball, and definitely seen it at Waffle level too. They go into a mode, they know how to do it, and that's the sign of maturity with a young group. And if I'm being honest, I'm talking about Subiaco, that's where we fell short today. Our guys just went away from what we're trying to teach them. And that's the challenge I have as a Waffle coach now with Subiaco players, is that you've got to be an every-time person in those moments, and how we make decisions based on what the game's presenting. And what I'm seeing, what I saw today firsthand with the Waffle Eagles, and what I've seen with the AFL team, they're definitely a lot more mature in that space.
You're in an absolutely unique situation that you've played for both of these clubs, Fremantle and West Coast, and coached one of them in a derby. So no one else has done that in the league. How much did you look forward to these games? As supporters, I wish they were sometimes a bit closer, but I always love, this is the pinnacle of WA football, these two enormous clubs going head-to-head. What's it like being both as a coach and as a player heading into one of these games? I'm
one of them coaches and players that like to draw on an emotion. I got asked this question the other day on another radio station in Adelaide, that, what's the difference between the showdowns and the derbies? I think as coaches and as leaders, I think you have a bit of a right or an obligation to really build the game up. I know the fans want that. I think what's happened in the past has been, I suppose, a period of time where Eagles dominated, then Freo dominated. And I think over the last, say, my time at West Coast, the last 4 years, the playing list that's been out there hasn't been probably as strong on the field to challenge the Freo that are at the top of their game. And if I go back about, I think it's 3 years now, where the West Coast team were up by, or in the game, or they were up in the game, and they lost about 8 or 9 players in the one game. It was when Liam Ryan, I think, tore his hammy off the bone. Yeah. And literally we had guys like Campbell Chesser out there on the ground running around with a grade 3 MCL, and they lost the game, and then it just snowballed for West Coast from there. And I look at that moment right there. If they hadn't lost those players, they would have won that game. And the confidence of the playing group and the squad would have got from that against a team that was touted as top 4, top 6, would have been important. But yeah, I did get the opportunity to coach in a derby, and I know I try and draw on that emotion. It was about choices that you make and understanding what the game presents and really stepping into it. And I think you've got to build these games up. Anyone that says it's just another game, they're telling porcupines in my eyes. Because we all want bragging rights. The players want bragging rights. They want to be able to walk down the street and puff the chest out and know that they got that win, and regardless of where they are on the ladder. And I think with the young group going out there today for West Coast, hopefully they're going to really step into it and embrace the game, because Fremantle have shown great resilience in their last couple of wins. I think this is a great opportunity for West Coast to really step into it and challenge them.
It's a great opportunity, as you said, Scully, with the young group coming through. They can really start instilling that and make them bring back the fierce, ferocious derbies that I grew up with seeing. And it is disappointing that they're not as close as over the last 10 years. They haven't been as close. They haven't been as ferocious. And I feel like there was an element of the coaches trying to play it down, and they go, it's just another game. But as you said, for players, it's not. You want the bragging rights, and I want to see a fierce contest when you go to a derby. You want to see hard football, and with these young guys coming through, it's a great opportunity to make them really want to win it and take it. I've said it a couple of times this weekend already. Freo with the young brother that's now grown into the younger brother that's able to beat up the big brother, which, I don't have brothers, but I imagine there's probably an element where a time that's happened in somebody's family. So it's exciting, but I feel like West Coast is a little brother now, and they need to build it up and make some emotion feeling with those young players coming through.
We'll get you to talk about the matchups and where you think players will play in just a moment. But again, the bigger picture sort of stuff. So you played both with Fremantle and at West Coast. Was there a differing attitude in the clubs when you were there, Jared Schofield, about how they would approach it, about whether or not it meant more to a certain team?
It's hard to say. It was a long, long time ago now when I was at Fremantle, Clint. But I think West Coast, because back to Jared's point around being the big brother, literally the big brother of Western Australian football, there was always, in my eyes, even back in my playing days and even the coaching, it's like you had that sort of little bit of extra swagger about, that we should flex. We are the first team in WA. We have been the dominant force, but times have changed over the last sort of period of time. And back to today's game, I think West Coast will step into it, and I just think it's whether they can sustain it that will be the challenge for them over a longer period of time.
The only rebuttal I've got with my Freo mates at the moment is the premierships. Even that's now not carrying enough weight. Like, at least we've won a couple of flags down at West Coast, but it's like, yeah, but you're terrible now.
8 years ago.
Can't live on past history.
It's gone quick, hasn't it? 8 years has gone quick. The Dockers have entered the arena here. They run through the banner which says Fast Freo and Purple Pride. Strap yourselves in and enjoy the ride. So certainly the support squad and the cheer squad hoping they embrace that fast style of football that make Fremantle so good and not the other style that sometimes holds them back.
So they are wearing the away uniform, the Fremantle Dockers. They're in the white, the all-white with the purple chevrons, the 3 purple chevrons on the front of their jumper. And, of course, the purple and white socks. There are no late changes for either West Coast or for Fremantle for Derby 62. So those changes, as we knew, Yo, Murdoch and Cripps in for the Eagles. Graham and Robertson, both big outs, missing with a shoulder and an ACL. And Owies has been omitted, while for the Dockers, it's young Mason Cox on debut and Frederick the Inns, O'Meara, Darcy, both out through injury and concussion. And Sherry has been omitted. The Eagles have raised their banner. Can they cause a major upset by beating Fremantle? The Dockers started the week sitting on second on the ladder. 4 wins, 1 loss, 16 points, 131.4 their percentage. The Eagles in 15th spot. Freo have won their past 4 games, and they've won the past 3 derbies and 8 of the past 9. As the Eagles make their way out, Jake Waterman, Milan Murdoch leading the way at the moment, both kicking footies through and over the top of the banner. The pyrotechnics explode into life on either side of the cheer squads, and the smoke, coloured both gold and blue, is released on the outer side of the ground as the Eagles make their way on to Perth Stadium for Derby 62. We're with you on 102.5 ABC Perth, ABC WA, Sport Digital and streaming on ABC Listen. Clint Wilden in commentary alongside Mitch Turner. Let's hear from our experts today. They both know what this stage is all about. Sharrod Willingham and Jared Schofield to preview Derby 62 on ABC Sports. Gent?
Yeah, it's really exciting, and I think that, Sco touched on it before, but the emotion that can be built into the game is what I'm hoping there are young minis in there doing and really trying to get some bounce off a tough couple of weeks from West Coast. I think we say it at the start of every game, but it's going to be really the tone's going to be set in the midfield, isn't it? And the dominance that the clearance game that Freo controls and their ability to break away from stoppage is really, really strong. How does West Coast combat that? And do they have the ability to take away their midfield dominance when you've got the pinch hitters? I know he's spent a lot more time, but I was going to say a pinch hitter, but Bolton, who's, I reckon, having an amazing impact. I think that he's one today who's probably the only chance to take Sarong off the podium for the Ross Glendenning medal.
You've gone early.
Yeah. I think that he's developed his game so well over the last 18 months, hasn't he? And he's become so damaging. We're seeing, I suppose, why they put so much effort to get him over. His run and carry, his ability to hit the scoreboard. And then he's also offering so much in terms of clearances as well this year. It's awesome to see.
Well, when he's up and going, Fremantle are going.
Yeah.
In terms of his clearance work, his ability to sort of spread from inside to out. I mean, he just complements those inside players. I think with Young coming back into the team too, gives them a lot more sort of, I suppose, bullocking, big-bodied around the ball. It's going to, from a West Coast point of view, once again we talk about Harley Reid, who's going to go in there and look after him. You'd think maybe Yowie plays a little bit more on ball. Previously he's been playing more forward before he went out of the team. But I think the loss of, the last time I saw West Coast live, watching Devon Robinson, really sort of crack in, his contested ball and his ability to get out was first class, and that's why they got him to the football club. I think they're going to miss that. They'll miss Jack Graham. So it's like, who's going to step up into that? You talk about the stoppage area. Who's going to step up into those areas to really sort of give them that sort of solid, contributing sort of competitiveness inside?
Do they rob the back line of Baker and push him up into the stoppages?
Yeah, well, it's a bit like Robin Peter, the pay Paul. Then you might even see young Allen go in there.
Yeah,
as well. He might give you a big burst, but Baker, like I said, he's sort of warming up at the moment. He might be forward, he might be back. But I think with Baker, I'll just put down here, I'd love to see him play on Murphy Reid, because I think he's a dangerous player for Fremantle. If you let him run around and create, along with a Bolton, West Coast will have their hands full.
Milan Murdoch also warming up with the midfielders who's played more forward. So obviously a midfielder at waffle level, and he ran through and he was shadow boxing the banner. He was pushing teammates. Like, I've never seen a guy more pumped up for a derby. So looking forward to seeing it.
There's that youth and energy that I love it.
Youth?
Hey, youth.
He's not that young, Milan.
Isn't he? Isn't he only 24 or something?
2025, that's young, isn't it?
It's young. It's only a couple of years older than you.
We called Hayden young when he's 25, so he's 25. That's young.
He's young.
Well, that's the thing. You don't have to be the bigger bodies around there, and that's where, in the past, we sometimes go after these big athletes, the big bodies around. If you've got fast feet around the ball, I'm just looking at Elijah Hewitt. I'd expect to see him go around the ball. He's got the speed and power for West Coast. So when you can you might have a plan to go, and if you can't win that first possession inside ball, well, can you get him on the outside with a bit of foot speed?
That's what I think West Coast really need to try and do today, is be really dynamic and not try and, TK loves just getting a nice inside stoppage at the front of the ruckman. I reckon they've got to try and be a little bit on the move and be a little bit more proactive so they can escape those really big and I suppose, solid Freo midfielders in Brayshaw, Sarong, Johnson's I think played a really crucial role this year for Freo, and his ability to be composed and Clint, you loved the other day when he stood up in the last in gather round. It was he's really developed his game as well, which is why we've seen Freo go to this level that I think it puts them in top 4 if not top 2.
Yeah. The other thing, just watching them warm up inside here, like having a little bit of intel. Tim Kelly sitting defensive side of stoppage. He sort of plays like a defensive mid. Watching Dersma go inside, he's generally their winger, but who knows? They might put their winger inside to match inside to get a sort of a defensive type mid layer. But also, we might see young Dersma go inside as an inside midfielder. We've seen that throughout their games already throughout the year when they've had to change things up. So I think it's going to be an interesting duel, especially around the ball, because of the uncertainty and an unknown around the West Coast makeup too. We know what Fremantle are going to present around the ball, but I think even going to the week before, watching Tracy against Frampton, I think there's an opportunity for the West Coast key defenders, whether it's a Jimby, to really take hold of Tracy, because he's a real barometer too in the front half for them.
Well, Andrew McWalter has just apparently said on Fox, the TV coverage just then, that Jimby will get first crack at Josh Tracy. So that's their only option, really, isn't it? We spoke about it before he got here, but there's not a lot of options. No, there isn't. And I just think, when Jimmy's given a task, he's great. It's just whether he can come forward on the ball. When they sort of play that cyclone defence, he's really aggressive and he's at his best when he can really attack the ball as a defender and get through the game. And I think if he can't do that because he's worrying too much about Tracy, well, where do they get that from behind the ball? Because once again, I think it's going to be really important how they can bounce off their half-back line. How can they put it on the opposition half-forwards in Fremantle? You've got Fredericks, you've got Reid and the likes. How can they really turn the tables and turn them back the other way?
Unfair questions. Which Reid has the most impact today? I knew it was an unfair question.
I'm going to put my neck out there. I'm going to say Harley Reid.
Okay.
I'm saying Murphy.
Yeah, so I knew you were going to say that.
I love the talk about which one is better. I think they both bring different things to their teams, and I love watching both of them.
No, they definitely
will have
do.
An impact today.
They definitely bring different things, and I think that Murphy at the moment for what Freo where they're at, he's just so creamy. Like, he's just the absolute cream on that midfield where he can be so damaging. He's really inventive, really creative, and he's got the workhorses doing their thing, but he's able to if he gets his 18 to 20 touches, 15 of them are going to be really damaging, and that's by hand and foot. So, whereas Harley's still required, he should be that, but at the moment he's required to do so much grunt work.
Do they go to him as well and try and get under his skin a little bit?
It'll be interesting.
With a Brayshaw just to... the contest
just to annoy him.
To annoy him a little bit.
It'll be interesting to see what they do, because in the past they put Jaeger O'Meara to him. So it's what do they do? Do they use a young? They've done it with Young before. Like, it's like a pseudo sort of run with where they put Young
at the contest,
at the contest, then work off him the other way. But yeah, to your point, Shady, yeah, it is. He carries such a load in terms of that inside stuff, and hopefully, with Yowie back in, even Elijah going inside, hopefully they can get a bit of that bullocking work, so then Harley doesn't have to be the main guy all the time, because at the end of the day, it's just easy pickings for Freo. They just take out one of the main guys and try and get under the skin of Harley, and we all know that he's a young, fiery young man, and he just wants to win. I think that's the thing. He's just such a competitor that it's like he just wants to win, and he treads a fine line. I love that about him.
That was the real plus about Norwood, watching him at Norwood, when you got to see him so close. And I know he gives away annoying free kicks, but he's desperate to win every contest. And that's that absolutely minuscule line between we love this, but we just need you to ease back on these occasions, and how you manage that's so tough.
Do you think that it's something he will evolve out of his game and grow? It will.
I think he will. What I see is probably more when he vents to the umpires. You're never going to change the umpires. So it's more his body language, if I mind, when I work with him, is that you can't do anything about the umpires, but I like him living on the edge, like towing that fine line of like wanting to be that competitive animal that all he wants to do is win. And sometimes you're going to step over it with a late check or whatever it is, but it's more going on with it, talking to the umpires. Don't worry about it, move on, go to the next contest. But he is such a competitor. Just to give you a quick insight, like when he was getting holding the balls a couple of years ago for trying to do the don't argues, he was getting, I suppose, sort of picked up by the umpires. He stopped doing that because he didn't want to let the team down. In the end, as a coach, I'm saying, no, keep going harder, keep doing it. It will eventually come for you. So that's just into his mindset of that. He never wants to let the teammates down. He wants to be the best he can be. He wants to be the best teammate he can be. And for him, it's about playing on the edge all the time.
Liam Baker and Alex Pearce out there in the middle of the ground for the coin toss done by 2014 Brownlow medalist Matthew Prittis. The Eagles have won the toss. They'll kick to the city end of the ground, which is the right of our broadcast position. Alex Pearce and the Dockers, they will kick to the Graham Farmer Freeway end.
Before we get your tips and your thoughts on the Glendinning Allen medalist, gentlemen, let's head downstairs. What's it like? Boundary side of Cash Photodars with us again. Cash.
Clint, as you'd expect, it's pretty electric down here. The crowd is filling in. They're making a lot of noise, and they're very excited for Derby 62. If I take a look across and see who's starting on the pine for both teams, for West Coast, Josh Lindsay, Jamie Cripps, Cooper Duff-Tytler, Hamish Davis and Harry Schoenberg on the bench. And for Fremantle, Mason Cox on Docker's debut will start on the bench alongside Carl Warner, Neil Erasmus, Michael Frederick and Corey Wagner.
Give us your tip, your margin and your medalist, Sharad.
Freo 45, Tracy.
All right, I'll just go against the grain. I'll go West Coast by 5 points. Ooh. And I'm going to tip Liam Baker.
Liam Baker. Jackson for me, Freo by 6 goals. Mitch?
Fremantle by 50 and Michael Frederick.
Michael Frederick?
Kicked 4 last time.
That was one from out of the box. Great you could be with us. Derby 62, it's underway. Here's Mitch Turner.
Jackson v. Williams in the ruck. Jackson got the better hand to it. In the middle, Yo crashing in, back into the side, back onto the ball. He's wrapped up in the middle of the ground. The ball up again. Players crowding around. Ball still inside the centre circle. Umpire waits. Players to separate. Tosses it up. Jackson palmed it down. Kelly rode off his own teammate. Spun away from Bolton. Has it for the Eagles. Long handball forward, over the top to Harley Reid. Has a little bit of space, thought about giving it off, instead goes inside 50. Waterman! Got rid of his opponent, took the mark. And he'll have the chance to kick the first of Derby 62.
Great start for West Coast. A little bit of a structural, I suppose, trigger that's been pulled straight away. That secondary stoppage, Dersma went up as the sixth mid, or as an extra forward.
What boots has he brought today? Jake Waterman runs around, snaps on the left and hits the post. He hasn't changed them. Inaccuracy continues. It's the first score of Derby 62 here on ABC Sports. The Eagles 1 behind, leading the Dockers yet to score 1 minute in.
10-16 now for Jake Waterman this season. Fremantle through Clark, long beyond defensive 50. Packer 4 up, off hands. Dersma tries to go through, tackled immediately. Nicely wrapped up by Sarong. So Caleb Sarong looking for a 5th Glendinning Allen medal today. Become the most successful player ever in derbies with those medals. Here's Kelly trying to bustle his way through. Johnson takes him to ground. It's holding the ball. Fremantle with the free kick. Matthew Johnson to take it just inside his defensive 50 at left half back. Eagles with the early score. They're up by a behind. Opening 2 minutes. Johnson kicks the Dockers towards the commentary wing. One down here by Voss. Got a hand to it. Spills out in the direction of Reid. He got tackled. Umpire says illegally so. Hurled to ground. He'll get the free kick on centre wing. Harley Reid involved immediately in Derby 62.
Has the free kick on the wing. Handballs forward to Young. Kicks it inside the forward 50, looking for a marking target. Waterman's there. Pearce came over the back, got a fist to it. Fell to Clark and the Dockers are away. Johnson, left foot, back outside defensive 50. One-on-one, Voss v Tyler Young. Goes over the back. Bolton's there. Taps it to his advantage. Handball now to Murphy Reid. Right in front of the interchange benches. Chips it forward to Switkowski. Handball to Bolton. Inside 50. Looking for a marking Tracy and Jimmy was all over him. Free kick paid to the Docker. It was above the shoulder. He'll have the set shot from about 35, 40 metres out. Slightly worse than a 45-degree angle to the left.
Well, already you can see what you touched on before, Sherrod, around Jai Bolton. You know, getting goal side. He looked dangerous. And you can't allow him to have space back towards his goal. But as you said before about structural change, Liam Baker playing forward too. Just a couple of different things that West Coast are throwing. It was good that they were able to hold him up, but you can't let Bolton goal side.
The tale of two spearheads. Waterman misses at one end. Tracy does not at the other. Works it through for the first goal of Derby 62. Josh Tracy's got his kicking boots on. The Dockers 1 straight 6 lead the Eagles just 1 behind. We've played 3.5 minutes in the first term here on ABC Sport. Both players have played in the Derby. Sherrod Wellingham, our expert today, alongside Jared Schofield.
Do you know what's really impressive with that one, Scully? Is Tracy's work rate. Like, he's in the middle of the ground. They've condensed the ground right up, and as a forward, beautiful timing and a great kick from Bolton. But yeah, Tracy's work rate. He was in the middle of the ground, probably backwards of centre square.
And that's what the people watching on screen and watching the game, they don't see that. You know, they're off ball running, and Ruben Jimby's one of the best. Be able to get goal side and starting behind him.
Gave him a big whack in that contest too.
Josh Tracy, you can hear on Breakfast with Mark Gibson, Thursdays before Fremantle home games. As Dersma tried to get a clearing kick, bounced off Jackson, tackled strongly by Harley Reid, spilled out to Yo, kicks the Eagles long towards full forward. Brendan Cox was back there, couldn't take the mark, spilled off him. He actually socketed it through for a rush behind. Couldn't take the footy into his hands, fell straight onto the boot. Socketed it through. 2 behinds for the Eagles now. Dockers are 1 straight 6, 4.5 gone opening turn.
Luke Ryan with the kick-out duties. Kicks it in the left back pocket to Brendan Cox, who marks this one. Joab Shanahan stands the mark on him. Called to play on. Kicks it down the line. Duggan sets himself. Takes a good intercept mark. Just forward of the wing. Plays on. Sends it back inside 50 for the Eagles. Looking for Waterman at the back. Couldn't mark it. Got both hands to it. Couldn't bring it down. Ball at ground level. Coming out the Dockers' way. McVie. Handball to Johnson, who's tackled by Davis. And the ball is out of bounds again. Boundary throw-in coming just inside the forward 50 junction. Right half forward for West Coast. They trail by 4 points.
Quick update, the MCG closing in on 3/4 time. Melbourne lead the Lions by 6 points. Thrown back in again. Williams won it down for the Eagles. Bolton gets a kick along the ground. Picked up at left half back here by Brayshaw. Goes back by hand to Chapman. Sweeps the Dockers across half back to Johnson. Releases Clark. Goes on a run through the middle. Runs through the centre circles. 2 bounces now for Clark. Kicks the Dockers into the right forward pocket. Wants Tracy. Ball bounces his way. Tries to step around. Jinby forced to backtrack by hand. Erasmus, 55 from goal. Up against the boundary. Short pass. He's delicate enough and long enough to be a mark. Reid. Murphy has it in the right forward pocket for Freo.
Transition footy. That, I don't know if you saw me, but as those Freo players were bringing their forwards, and everybody was, up around past the centre circle, and that's what's really going to be exposed, is that fast play out the back, isn't it?
Well, they just sort of flattened them out.
Murphy Reid starts beyond the boundary, boots cross the 50 from the right forward pocket. He's kicking to goal from 45 out. Murphy Reid's kick is across the face. A minor score. Fremantle have been inside forward 50 twice for 2 scores. They're 1-1-7. The Eagles are 2 behind. So they've been inside forward 50 on 4 occasions.
So McCarthy will bring the ball back into play for West Coast. Runs his full distance down the broadcast side. Kicks it to the wing. Big fly from Shanahan at the back. Takes a great grab in the derby. Job Shanahan flying high, taking the grab. What a career this young man could have. He kicks up the wing over the head of Alex Pearce, who tried to take the intercept mark, couldn't. Ball at ground level, right half forward. Brayshaw eventually gathers. Handball to Luke Ryan, who looks for Hayden Young, who might be getting used to the rules again because didn't reach for that ball. It goes out of bounds, and of course that is the lasso rule. So Bailey Williams will have the free kick. On the boundary, attacking side of the broadcast wing, kicks towards the hot spot, looking for a marking target. Cox there for the Dockers, that was Brennan, punched it. McCarthy couldn't take it for West Coast. Dersma, he's tackled, coughed it up by hand to the Dockers. Dudley did well, somehow got a handball to Murphy Reid, in front of Switkowski, to Clark, one bounce through the middle of Perth Stadium, has players in front of him running towards goal, gives it to Amos, chips into the goal square, Voss will mark. End-to-end stuff will end in a Patrick Voss set shot from the tight angle just outside the goal square. He's not going to waste any time, Patrick Voss. He steps around, he snaps, he goals, he pumps the fist to the crowd, and maybe the swagger is back for the prancing pony. 2-1-13 Fremantle. West Coast 2 behinds, margin 11 points. 8 minutes in, Jared Schofield and Sharad Wellingham are our experts. End-to-end stuff again from the Dockers.
It's efficient.
That was just another example where their half forwards got back to sort of really fill the hole. They drew the West Coast halfbacks up nice and high, and all it took was just to break one layer of that contest, and they got through. And yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I've seen West Coast do it. The old +1 goes behind the ball to try and get a bit of sort of support, because at the moment they just set off that sort of forward 50 stoppage for West Coast in the last play. They're just getting flattened out and getting through Fremantle at the moment.
Patrick Voss with the strut be back after that goal. Certainly celebrated with the Purple Army in front of him at the Farmer Freeway end. Knockers will get the clearance out of this. It came to Young, went to Brayshaw, hand pass on the bounce, gathered by Sarong. Works it out to Murphy Reid. Hand pass again to Wagner at right half forward. Kicks into the right forward pocket, brought to ground by Young, spilled out to Voss, attacked the football, got it to Jackson, now to Amos in the right forward pocket, snaps but misses. A minor score on the way through. Took a little touch as well. 2-2-14 the Dockers, 2 behinds the Eagles, 9.5 gone, opening turn. Derby 62 on 102.5 ABC Perth and ABC WA.
The Eagles bring it in quickly through Lindsay to McCarthy. Marks the ball still inside his defensive 50. The sun still poking across about a third or 2/3 of the oval as he switches it to left half back, where Brock plays on, kicks long over the back, taking the mark is Bo Allen, runs away from Alex Pearce to the young man, arches the back and then kicks it inside the 50. It's intercepted by Clark of the Dockers, and there'll be a 50-metre penalty as well, because neither Hoff or Duff Tytler stood the mark and they ran away after being called to stand, and now Clark will be marched into the centre square. He'll play on quickly and find Hayden Young on the attacking edge of it.
Young glances over his left shoulder. Brayshaw was there as he ran behind him. Decides to kick long towards full forward. 3-on-3 battle. Mason Cox there couldn't complete the mark. Dropped down. Chance to go beyond defensive 50. Comes out though to Sarong. Tried to shrug a tackle. Got wrapped up holding the ball. Or got the hand pass away. No, he's been pinged.
One umpire said play on, one umpire said hold the ball.
And they've played holding the ball as Murdoch took it and gave it to Young. Goes to Jimby, still just inside his defensive 50. Mason Cox with an early fly, got hands to it, couldn't mark it. Kick to the outer side. Here's Allen again. Moves the Eagles inboard. There's 50 going against Fremantle. Was it against Murphy Reid? Was supposed to stand and didn't, so it'll bring West Coast inside forward 50. A chance to have a shot on goal. Come back here to Allen to take it. He'll put boot to ball from about 45 metres out. He'll start in front of the left-hand goalpost. 50 against Murphy Reid officially, according to champion data. He was the player who didn't stand. Looking for the Eagles' first of the afternoon. Bo Allen on his way in. It's fading right, it misses. 3 behinds now for West Coast. One of them rushed. 2-2-14 the Dockers. 12 gone in the first.
Quickly bring the ball back into play to Brennan Cox, who goes short outside 50 on the southern side to Wagner. Playing his third derby, goes further up the wing to Matthew Johnson. Has it just backwards of the logo. Still plenty of sunshine on that side as he goes laterally and slightly backwards to Heath Chapman. The Dockers patient here. Chapman goes back out the southern side at the back. Murphy Reed's got free. Couldn't take the mark. Was able to gather though. Now chips it towards half forward looking for Voss. Good fist in there from Brock. The Eagles though turn it over straight away. Voss gets it back for the Dockers. Handball to Murphy Reed to Hayden Young. Takes it on the half volley at 50 on the right boot looking for a target over the back. Cox couldn't mark again. Had a couple of cracks, the new Docker. And in the end, the Eagles can clear it through a kick, and it's marked by Cooper Duff Tyler just inside, defensive 50.
Moves it out to Duggan. Still marking inside his back 50. Right back pocket. In the shadows of the northern wing. The co-captain for the Eagles will move it down the line. Cox is in this battle. Duff Tyler went up, got a little touch on it. Spilled down to Yo of West Coast. Kick towards right half forward. Leading out in front and marking's Waterman. Has both shoulders strapped as we always see. Puts it into the right forward pocket. Ryan did well. Got in front of Shanahan. Just saw it by hand across the boundary line for a throw-in. Deep in the right forward pocket for the Eagles. 2-2-14 the Dockers. 3 behinds West Coast. 13 gone opening term. As the ball is spun back into play. Opposition here. Went down by the Eagles. Came out to Chapman. Tried to get a hand pass away to Warner. Immediately tackled. Umpire says we'll pull it up. Murdoch got him. Throwing right forward pocket still for West Coast. Yet to kick a goal in Derby 62. Again, a decent battle on. Comes down to Young. He's tackled immediately. And ball it up once more. Archer Reed doing the ruck work against the bespectacled Mason Cox. On debut for the Dockers.
Ball tossed high in the air. Reed tapped it down only in the path of the Dockers, though in Warner. Had to dodge the umpire as he kicks to the wing. Voss couldn't mark. Brock was good. Coming through McCarthy for West Coast. Broke a tackle. Kicks it high inside the forward 50. Mason Cox underneath it. Couldn't grab it again. Ball at ground level. In there for the Dockers is Erasmus. He's tackled. Taken forward by Murdoch. And they'll ball it up. 40 metres out from the Eagles' attacking goal. Searching for their first. Had a couple of goes at it so far. Ball up in the air. Cox tapped it down to Young. Clearing kick. Finds the chest outside defensive 50 of Shea Bolton, who can bring the ball back inside to Hayden Young, who marks inside the centre square.
Dockers by 11 points as Young flares it out into the sunshine on the southern wing. Ryan marks. Takes a step and immediately sends it in the direction of Wagner, but he's put too much on the kick. It's out of bounds on the full. West Coast to have it at left half back. Tim Kelly brings the ball back into play. Not a great kick. Wanted Allen. Instead travelled over that. Chapman picked it up off the ground. His kick was in front of Johnson. He couldn't get there. McCarthy goes back. And then he's tackled by Reed. Lost possession of the footy, and that's incorrect disposal. A free kick here for the Dockers. And Reed's got it at right half forward. Big lead on from Tracy. The kick goes in that direction. He couldn't quite take the mark. Ooh. McCarthy got bumped heavily trying to get the football. Reed does pick it up, goes in the direction of Voss, juggles it across the line. Ball in, about 40 out from the Dockers goal.
That was a big knock.
Oh, that was Tracy just coming through and just
get out of my way.
Said to McCarthy, bang.
He stood his ground.
He really did. Need to earn it too. Here's Mason Cox winning it down for the Dockers. Tried to get it to Voss, couldn't do so. Picked up out of there by Brock. Clearing kick beyond defensive 50. Good juggling mark. Waterman in front. Had 2 bites, was able to complete it as he went to ground.
Gave the handball off to Lindsay quickly as well, whose high kick straight under it is Brennan Cox for the Dockers. They tried to go quickly but had nothing further afield. The Dockers have the ball back at right half back. Laterally inside to Warner goes Cox, who switches it all the way back to the left side of the ground, the broadcast side to Clark, who can clear defensive 50 to Chapman. Comes out to the wing. Erasmus has to mark under pressure. Did so from Schoenberg. Slowly gets to his feet as he gets a little shove from the new Eagle. Just for good measure. Rasmus runs around. A chippy little kick towards half forward. Jimby came out, couldn't mark it. Reed at ground level went without it as well. Frederick, he's over the top of it for the Dockers. Kelly just came in and ripped it away for West Coast. Handball to Duggan. Kick up towards Shanahan. Flew this time, he couldn't mark it. Gets over the back. Pearce leads the race. Under pressure from Cripps. Pearce stood his ground well for the Dockers. Handball to Clark. Then to Ryan. All the way back inside. Defensive 50. Where Cox can mark and send it out the southern side.
But Brendan Cox, it's a dangerous kick. Wagner couldn't get to it. Scooped up here by the Eagles. Long kick towards full forward. Misses and bounces across the face. Ryan shrugs the attempted tackle of Duff Titler and then steps it calmly across the line. And he's been pinged for a deliberate rush. Now, surely that's within the 9-metre area. Surely that's within the 9-metre area, which means I cannot see how they've given that free kick to Cripps, who was the nearest Eagle to it. It's against Luke Ryan, who broke the tackle and then was under pressure. Interesting. And I would say there's a touch of the footy gods there, because Cripps, from pretty much point-blank range, although at a tight angle at right full forward, has missed. It's another minus score. 4 behind the Eagles, 2-2-14 the Dockers. Fremantle lead is 10 points.
Well, it's a game of opportunities. You've got to take your chances, and at the moment, West Coast have had 4 shots on goal and haven't taken them. But looking at the game over the last 5 minutes, the actual ground shape of Fremantle and their system is holding up. West Coast a little bit disjointed at the moment.
Turns it over here, the Dockers. Harley Reid from the wing wins possession, dances through a couple, kicks high to the square. Cox is there for the Dockers. This is Brennan. And he is tackled. Underneath it all is Ryan in the end. So they've turned up the heat a little bit, the Eagles here. Their pressure has been the worst in the AFL for differential so far this year. Ball tossed up in the air. Jackson tapped it down. Sarong clears it for the Dockers. Might be coming back. Mason Cox stood underneath it. It was punched away from him. Young, the first one there for the Dockers. This is Hayden Young. Right kick up the wing. Wasn't a great one. Allowed the Eagles to get in front through Tyler Young. And he's pushed out of bounds. The ball will be tossed back in. We'll ask for clarity on the insufficient intent from Razor Ray on extra time on tomorrow night.
Sherrod, I know you've been winking and we've been looking at this, but we look, when I say we, I think West Coast look vulnerable, don't they? When it's a forward 50 stoppage, they look vulnerable behind the ball, don't they?
They certainly do. The Fremantle forwards are getting right up, and as soon as they create a turnover or win the clearance in the D50, they are going fast.
The Eagles almost took it away from the stoppage on that occasion, but Yo, after stepping through a couple of handballs out of bounds, it's a free kick to the Dockers. Jackson goes inboard to McVie, just backward of the wing on the southern side. The Eagles trail by 10 points in the first term.
McVie looking for Young, who marks. The shied right half forward in the sunshine. Amos is all on his own in the right forward pocket and takes an uncontested grab and could go back and have a shot for the Dockers. Tracy was calling for it at full forward. There was no way it was going there.
And that's that structure. Yeah. It's getting mucked around a little bit. Not able to find a direct opponent and being exposed unmanned in your D50.
Well, that's the example of a role. If Jimby's playing on Tracy, he didn't cyclone, what they call cyclone, to sort of come across and take care of Jai Amos. So, yeah, they're breaking down a little bit at the moment, West Coast.
Found some form of late Jai Amos. He's hard up against the boundary. 47 from goal. Gets really underneath the kick. It floats across the face. It's been kept in. One down on a pack, and then a clearing kick from beyond defensive 50 from the Eagles has turned straight over, and Ryan marks from Lindsay's kick as he tried to rush it away, and Luke Ryan can go back and he can have a shot after almost conceding a goal just moments ago with that rush behind. He'll be kicking from right on 50, 45-degree angle to the left.
He's taking a screamer on the smallest bloke out there.
Glad you said that. I was thinking the same thing. It wasn't much of a stepladder.
Luke Ryan, looking for his first of the season, has missed. Not a noted goal kicker, of course. He's kicked 3 goals in 184 games going into today. Minor score 2-3-15 to 4 behind. It's a big grab, though, to Ryan over the top of Murdoch.
It's the most unimpressive hanger I think I've ever seen over Milan Murdoch, and he's underneath this one. Luke Ryan, the clearing kick from the Eagles is marked, attacking side of the wing for the Dockers. 2019 is the last time he kicked a goal.
Jeez.
He just blew his chance. Luke Ryan, he might be pushing forward again. He bombs this one long inside 50. Mason Cox underneath it, battling with Tyler Young. Ball comes off hands out the back. Liam Duggan thought about rushing it, then maybe just had a little memory from what happened at the other end. He keeps it in instead for West Coast. Kicks it out towards left half back, Lindsay. Handball inside to Murdoch. Releases a player on the outside in Bo Allen, who tried to chip it short. It was knocked down by Carl Warner. The Dockers now have it back. Tucks up against the boundary line on the southern side. Inside to Murphy Reid. Split the handball between traffic. The Dockers under pressure though. Wagner running in the wrong direction. Snaps over the top into the path of Murphy Reid. Another touch. He's dominating this first quarter. Spins away from an opponent. Kick wasn't great towards half forward. Allowed Dersman to gather for the Eagles. His kick up the wing though will be marked by Carl Warner. Murphy Reid up to 10 disposals.
Been super impressive. Clark, by the way, 260-odd metres gained, so they've both been very busy for Fremantle as the Dockers go back inside forward 50, and well done by Young. Allowed an opportunity for Williams to fly at the ball. He should have been able to mark it for West Coast. They scramble it beyond their defensive 50, but it's picked up by Frederick. He'll put it into the left forward pocket, and Amos marks. They turned it over across half back, the Eagles, and the Dockers responded. Inside forward 50 they go, and now it ends up with Amos, this time having a shot from the left forward pocket.
Oh, the game, the fundamentals. Cough up on the far side. Miss
Drop
kick.
marks.
Yeah, it just costs you, especially when you got a team like Fremantle that really sort of squeeze the ground in their front half.
They score a short time ago. It's a little bit closer and a little bit with a better angle. Jai Amos, we're behind the kick. It's on its way. It hits the right-hand goalpost. A minor score. Fremantle move on to be 2-4-16. The Eagles are 4 behinds, 23 gone in the opening term.
Back into play, they bring it again. This time, Willem Dersma has a bit of space at right half back for the Eagles, able to take the mark. The Shadows working their way across Perth Stadium. Most of this broadcast side is covered. Dersma called to go. Eventually, just kicks it long up the wing. In the middle of the pack, Jackson couldn't mark. Harley Reid coming through. Handball to up in the air. Got it back off hands. Into Baker, who is tackled, trying to step inside and pass the wrong. He was caught holding the ball, determined by the umpire. Didn't have a lot of time, Baker, to make a decision. Just had to kind of take him on, and it's hard to get away from Caleb Sarong, who kicks up the wing, looking for Brayshaw. Got a hand on it. The Eagles, though, ground level through McCarthy. Now Duggan. They've won it back. Can go inside forward 50. High kick. Big fist from Luke Ryan. Straight into the path of Harley Reid. Couple of steps towards the 50. He misses to the left. Opportunity there for the Eagles. Again, another behind. That's 5 of them so far. The Dockers, their 2-4-16 margin, 11 points, approaching the 25-minute mark of the first term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Derby 62, Clint Wilden.
The MCG, 12.5 gone in the last. Melbourne lead the Lions by 10. Dockers with the kick in beyond defensive 50, off hands, down to Dersma. Got it to Schonberg. Will kick inside forward 50 for West Coast. Stretching, unable to mark was Shanahan. At the back, McVie had it. Threw it on the boot immediately. Ugly looking kick. Schonberg went up, couldn't mark it. Was able to pick it up a second time. Tackled by Jackson. Ball jarred free. Still in dispute. Good tackling coming here by Switkowski, who wrapped up his opponent in Duggan. Took him to ground. Ball up the call. Dockers by 11 points, still in the opening term. Bailey J had 2 touches, and he's going to get a free kick for being taken high as he looked to win it down for West Coast. He could go out to Harley Reid, who wanted it right half forward. That avenue was chopped off by Bolton. He kicks long into the right forward pocket. It just goes over the fingertips of Ryan and settles there for Waterman to mark.
I thought that was a terrible kick, but it was perfect. It's going straight to a Fremantle defender, but weighted very nicely.
Just looking at some of their entries, like Fremantle are very good at protecting the line of the ball. If you can keep their sort of aerial players out of position, taking the ball off the line, like he was on the far side then, so maybe some exploring a bit of that, taking the ball off the line, make their defence shift a bit, might give some more efficiency.
Jake Waterman starts beyond the boundary. Boots cross the white line now. He kicks from 40 out. It's a stinker. having a great time in front of goal for a very talented player. It's a minor score to the right-hand side, and it goes through as it sounds, as we hear the siren sound. Come on, Clint, get it right. For quarter time, 6 behind West Coast. They trailed the Dockers, who are 2-4-16. A 10-point lead at the first change for the Fremantle side. West Coast still without an opening term victory in season 2026. The goal kickers, this won't take long. Voss and Tracy for the Fremantle Dockers. The Eagles without one in that opening term. Just a quick score check for you again in the other game that's taking place at the moment. 11 gone in the final term. Melbourne have stretched their lead back out to 16 points over Brisbane. We'll keep you across that one as this game continues, but with a bit over half a quarter to play out, the Demons by 16 points over the Lions. Wherever you're listening on ABC Local Radio, 102.5 ABC Perth, or around WA on News Radio, Sport Digital, and streaming on ABC Listen, this is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Okay, ready?
Little listeners have a new space to get all their favourite podcasts.
Hooray!
Like exclusive new episodes of Bluey Listen Along.
Let's dance to celebrate!
Create a kids profile today by heading to the Kids tab on the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Handball to Bolton, inside 50, looking for a marking Tracy, and Jimmy was all over him. Waterman misses at one end, Tracy does not at the other. Works it through for the first goal of Derby, 62. On the broadcast side, kicks it to the wing, big fly from Shanahan at the back. Takes a great grab in the Derby to Clark. One bounce through the middle of Perth Stadium. Gives it to Amos. Chips into the goal square. Boss will mark. Patrick Boss, he steps around. He snaps. He goes. He pumps the fist to the crowd, and maybe the swagger is back for the prancing pony.
Ryan shrugs the attempted tackle of Doug Tytler and then steps it calmly across the line, and he's been pinged for a deliberate rush. Now, surely that's within the 9-metre area. Surely that's within the 9-metre area, which means I cannot see how they've given that free kick to Cripps, who was the nearest Eagle to it. It's against Luke Ryan, who broke the tackle and then was under pressure. Interesting.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
On that point too, Ryan had Cripps right on him, so surely he was under pressure. I'm staggered by that. We've seen a couple of those interesting decisions. It's amazing how they sort of play out. We saw one last week involving West Coast as well, and the Eagles got one given to Jake Waterman.
That one last week, College Asney, was it?
Mm-hmm.
That was a free kick. That one against Ryan wasn't.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure of the College Asney one. We were a million miles away, and we were down, as you know, at Norwood. We were only about 2 metres off the ground.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. That one, I'm absolutely convinced the umpires have got that completely wrong.
Ray Chamberlain has taught us well now. That was a challenging decision for the umpire to make. That's the wording he gave me.
If it's a challenging decision, as Dean Margett says, don't make a decision. Let it just be a behind.
I agree. It didn't cost in the end anyway. He missed it anyway, Cripps. So.
As I said, that was the football gods saying we'll balance this out.
Clarity tomorrow night on Extra Time.
We will.
You and Sharrod and Razor Ray.
We'll ask him the big questions.
Maybe I'll get a word in this week with Razor.
I'll let you ask all the questions. Smart Alec. Sharrod Willingham. He can ask.
It was a big week last week.
You can ask all the questions of Razor tomorrow, alongside Jared Schofield, our experts on ABC Sport. What have you made of that opening term, gentlemen?
Yeah, it was pretty obvious what Freo were trying to do. Concertina the ground, make it very small, squeeze all their forwards up for their defensive 50 stoppages, and then just slingshotting it out the back, weren't they? Which requires huge work rate from their forwards, but they were able to do it. I think West Coast will take a couple of positives away from the quarter, and that they were reasonable in the clear stoppages. They didn't get heavily beaten in the stoppages. They were able to get inside their forward 50 16 times. Is that correct? 16 times, but just didn't seize their opportunities.
No, that's right. Yeah, they said +4 on inside 50s, and they didn't win one forward 50 stoppage. They've gone -4, and the differential on stoppages I think is +1 for them, but they lost their ascendancy in the front half, and then when they got through, as you said, they were flattened out behind the ball. Their structure is they drop their wingers out West Coast to try and give them a +2 behind the ball. but it seemed like they got drawn up so high that they didn't have any sort of protection on those fast sort of transitional plays. But throughout the middle part of the quarter, it just felt like Fremantle had good ground shape. They were able to sort of hold their position on the ground. They defended well. They used their hands well. The uncontested possession was really starting to get out of hand, and they really controlled the game. And, West Coast is still, they've had 6 scoring shots to 6, but just haven't taken their opportunities. And they need to obviously break the deadlock there in terms of getting a nice little couple of goals there, and they might get going.
The game wasn't really spent in the middle. It was either at one end or the other, wasn't it? There was barely any stoppages through the middle, which I suppose probably suited West Coast, because they're going to get beaten up around the stoppages, in my opinion, and they'll take that. They obviously didn't take their opportunities, but they'll take that. Whereas Freo, you said it, fundamentals, they were just so clean, and they were able to hit their targets, hold their marks, take their shots when they had them inside their forward 50, and just be clean. They're super clean.
Yeah, and obviously field position's super important in the modern game, and as you said, they did have a bit of that, but so did Fremantle. They just took their opportunities.
So Murphy Reid with 10 touches for the Dockers, Luke Ryan with 8, 7 for Clark, Chapman and Young. For the Eagles, McCarthy with 8, Harley Reid with 7, Duggan with 6.
So we're just waiting to get the okay from the television broadcasters. Players in position. The Dockers with that 10-point lead. Umpire holds the ball off. Second term underway in Derby 62. Bit of push and shove immediately on between Young and Harley Reid as Jackson wins it down in the midfield. Bounced off Reid, taken by Williams. Gets the kick away for West Coast. To land inside forward 50. Pearce goes back for the Dockers. Takes possession, tackled immediately, ball up. No prior opportunity. Yo got him one way, Cripps the other. Inside West Coast forward 50. Rucks both go at it. Only Jay with the more telling tap, but it went straight to Chapman, was set upon by 3 Eagles immediately. Dersma, Hewitt, Cripps all surrounding him. Again, Bailey J won it down, but straight to Clark. Got it back towards Warner. Kicked around the body for the Dockers. It'll bounce inside the centre square. Met, though, nicely by Lindsay. He'll drive the kick back inside forward 50. Duff Titler's got a couple to beat. Diving on the ground in his own defensive goal square. Ryan saved the day for Fremantle. Gave it to Chapman. Kicked beyond defensive 50. Off hands. Down to Duggan. Back towards full forward. Spoiled here, but came to Waterman. Gave it to Reid. Snapped, but didn't get enough purchase on the footy. Marked there by Ryan, or in fact he had to play on. Touched on the way through. Kicked beyond the defensive 50, down towards left half back as Switkowski marks for Fremantle. Their lead is 10 points, opening 80 seconds of the second term.
Switkowski goes back inside defensive 50 to Luke Ryan. There's some lead on, ignores it from Wagner. Now goes further afield than that, up the southern side. Young, push Kelly underneath it, gets out the back. Bailey Williams the first, so the umpire closest said play on. The umpire 30 metres behind him said push. It'll come to Tim Kelly. It's probably there. The free kick paid. He handballs to McCarthy up towards right half forward, where Duff Titler can take the mark. Goes into the pocket for West Coast. Duff Titler on the lead. Waterman marks it just inside the boundary line. Will give himself another tough shot, Jake Waterman. 45 metres out. Will start outside the boundary line, just inside right half forward. 2 behinds today, Jake Waterman, so he's up to 10-17 on the season.
Just saw the accuracy percentage of 39%, which is his lowest in his career. Marco said pre-game that he's got his kicking boots, so hopefully he starts using them.
The Eagles searching for their first goal today. Waterman's kick is off the side of the boot straight away, and it misses to the right-hand side, the near side, 0-7. West Coast, Fremantle 2-4-16, a 9-point margin here, while Brisbane trail Melbourne by 9 points with 6.5 minutes to go at the MCG.
Long kick from Clark beyond defensive 50 to the outer wing. Off hands, it came down to Kelly. Shared it with Lindsay, back to Kelly. Broke the Bolton tackle, stepped inside Warner as well. That was well played by the former club champion. Into the right forward pocket, spills off hands to Yo, who snaps and gives the Eagles their first. 3 minutes into the second term, they just kept getting it back inside their attacking 50, West Coast, and eventually could find the major opening It's a 3-point ball game. Yo 1-7-13 to Fremantle 2-4-16. 3 and a bit gone in the second term, and I swear that was the Wiggles hot potato as it goes around the ground, and that's what he was doing with his hands, Elliot Yo.
Well, the repeat entries builds pressure. Yeah, they've had 5 inside 50s, and eventually the damn wall breaks. And we talked about on the break where they obviously were +4 on inside 50s, and they had field position. So just a contest, and a good player steps up when you need to.
The Wiggles, not the Wiggles for Elliot Yo. Have a look. They show the replay. There he is. The hot potato.
I wonder if that's his little baby girl's favourite song or something.
I was going to say, I recognised it with kids immediately. I knew what he was up to.
You can tell he's still a new dad. Elliot Yo getting the brownie points early from the restart. The Dockers almost won it away, but the Eagles do. Handball from Kelly. Sold his teammate into pressure. Ripped to ground by Wagner with Schonberg. Ball falls out. Kelly back on it again. Had a good start for West Coast. Clever handball to Tyler Young off half-back, who can go short up the wing and find Schonberg. Handballs forward quickly to McCarthy, back to Schonberg. Handball to Harley Reid. One-on-one with Jordan Clark. He just got away from the tackle in time. Umpire gave him a lot of time too. The Eagles go inside 50. Brennan Cox in front. Can't mark for the Dockers. Yo, strong in the tackle. Handball to Waterman. High kick towards the middle of the 50. Davis drops the mark. Handball back to Josh Lindsay. Snap on goal. Bounces through. His first goal in AFL footy comes in his first derby. Josh Lindsay, the first round pick, puts the Eagles in front. 2-7-19 West Coast. Fremantle 2-4-16. 3-point margin. He needed the bounce and he got it. The footy gods listened to the young man.
Scobie, you spoke about encouraging Harley to do the fend off. Fought through it in that one, didn't he?
Oh, most people would get stuck with that, but he found a way, and already, you just sort of see maybe a bit of the intent of West Coast, looking to sort of run and gun a bit, using their hands. So maybe when you get your hand on the ball and your best players get involved in Waterman and Yo in the last passages of play. So, and Kelly's had a great start to this quarter too.
He looks a little bit more dynamic than he has over the last 18 months. He's got a bit of power.
Yeah, he definitely looks like he's turning the circle a lot quicker.
Huge roar from the Eagles fans. They're in front and they're celebrating. As Bolton gets the clearance, though, for the Dockers. They look to hit back immediately. Sarong towards full forward. Great mark, Jinby. Floated across in front for the intercept grab at full back. Read that beautifully. Kicks beyond defensive 50. The left half back. Davis was there. Outpointed by Erasmus. Spun around under pressure. Erasmus, hand pass for Sarong to run onto. Broke away from Cripps. Lost his footing. That one maybe a little bit higher. It wasn't intentional at all from Davis. Goes across the boundary line, the footy for a throw-in. Right half forward for Freo. 3 points. West Coast lead. Having another look as did fall over and got a little knock to the head there, Sarong, by Davis, but it was completely unintentional. It was the Dockers player that slipped and caused the contact. Williams down. Here's Murdoch. Hand passes backwards for the Eagles to McCarthy, to Kelly, under pressure to Hoff, now to Baker, who's got it at centre half back and kicks in the direction of Archer Reid out on the southern wing.
Has to gather the bouncing ball. Pearce held him up, so goes backwards to the defensive side of the logo on the southern side where Jimby can mark. Thought about going the switch. In the end, decides he'll kick it long towards right half forward. Looking for a marking target. Warner at the back for the Dockers. Strong hands. Came in as a third man up and takes the mark. Still staring into the sunshine. Kicks it back where it came from. Looking for Tracy. One-on-one with Jimby. Coming across is McCarthy. They're helping each other out, the Eagles. He goes by foot towards centre half back to Hoff. Handball across to Tyler Young to the broadcast side. Davis marks in front of Erasmus. Just forward of centre wing, called to play on, runs inside, steps around Switkowski, kicks looking for a marking target, can't, off hands at ground level, Baker to Milan Murdoch, kick on goal is swinging and missing. Oh, he would have celebrated there, Milan Murdoch, he misses. 2-8-20 West Coast, 2-4-16 Fremantle, 4-point lead. Shout out to Lou, who sent me a message listening to the ABC's call of the Derby on his morning run in Dublin.
Outstanding.
All over the globe. Well done, Lou.
Here's Wagner. Kicks towards centre wing out of side. 2-on-2 battle. Front position was Young. Couldn't gather. Voss off the deck. Hand pass to absolutely no one in particular. Baker was happy to receive it, then broke the Voss tackle. His hand pass to the opposite three in Sarong. Gave it short to Wagner. Kicks across half-back. Erasmus marks between centre half-back and right half-back. Goes on a bit of a trundle. Stabs the ball short to Dudley. Has space to work with here on centre wing. Puts Fremantle to right half forward. Tracy got in front of his opponent and marks. Off stands the mark. Tracy sends it inside the attacking 50. Amos! A line of 6. And he brings the ball to ground. He was the second last player in that contest. Read it well. Can go back and have a shot from a 45-degree angle and from no more than 30 outs. He's thinking about the set snap here, Jai. Takes a deep breath. He will go with the set snap on the left. He'll curl it through to put Fremantle back in front at the 10-minute mark of the second term. Jai Amos gets his first. The Dockers are 3-4-22. The Eagles 2-8-20. 10 gone second term. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport on 102.5 ABC Perth, ABC WA on Sport Digital and streaming on ABC. Listen now, experts Jared Schofield and Sharad Willingham.
A little bit of a slower transition and entry inside their forward 50 from Fremantle then, but I didn't actually notice that in the play, but who is that? Young, who just slipped over in the contest, which left Amos able to... Was it Young or...
I think it was, yeah. Jackson was floating down there. Bailey Williams there as well.
I think, as you said, it was a slow transition. They had to try and control the ball a bit. West Coast have shown their intention about with the forward handball.
Ball in the middle. Mason Cox taps it down. Sarong knocks it to his advantage. Bit of bullocking. Now handballs towards Young. The Dockers go inside forward 50. Young, high kick towards Jackson and Voss. Jackson got rid of Tyler Young, and the free kick is going the Dockers' way for a hold. It'll go to Luke Jackson, who was wrestling with Tyler Young. Young went to ground. It looked like he may have thrown him out of the way. The umpire says it was Young holding Jackson. He does have a big tug of the Guernsey right in the chest.
Yeah, first time watching it, I thought it was a pretty even contest, but on the replay you can see a fistful of the jumper.
Luke Jackson directly in front, 20 metres out, pokes it through. The Dockers get back-to-back goals just to wrestle back some momentum. 4-4-28 Fremantle. West Coast 2-8-20, 8-point margin, 11 minutes into the second term. Sharad Willingham and Jared Schofield, our experts here on ABC Sport.
That's where it can get a little bit frustrating up in the box, can't it, as a coach, Scoey? They've gone inside forward 53 times and scored twice. So that one, it's tough when you're a defender and you're kind of trying to make a contest, but you can't give away free kicks like that.
You get desperate, especially off centre bounces,
Yeah.
field position off centre bounce. And that's what the game's telling us right now. Whoever owns field position will score, and they got a little bit desperate, then the West Coast backs.
2-point game. Final 30 seconds between Melbourne and Brisbane. The Demons still lead Brisbane by those 2 points. Give you the full-time score in just a moment. Mason Cox in the middle was able to win it down, got it to Johnson. Hurry kick around the body, will bounce its way towards centre half forward. Punch down here by the Eagles. Spilled to Schoenberg, to Duggan. Moved it nicely to Dersma. Has to go by hand to Hoff. Wanted someone to come towards him. It was Cripps. Cripps does, and receives the football by marking in front of his eyes on centre wing. Commentary side of the ground. Kicks in the direction of Waterman, who marks. 52 out from goal. Left half forward. Dersma continued his run along the boundary line. That's ignored. Waterman runs inboard from 55 metres out. It's a thumping kick towards goal. Off hands. Spills down to Archer Reid, to Murdoch. Hands it off to Yo deep in the right forward pocket. Great tackle came from Dudley. Yo got a hand pass out. Still in dispute. Young shovels the hand pass forward for the Dockers. To Voss. To Wagner. Has to wheel around. He's got 3 Eagles with him. Gets a kick away though towards the outer wing. Amos tried to bring it to ground. Young got there first though for the Eagles. Tyler Young short hand pass gives it on to Allen.
Goes by hand to McCarthy. Now retreats to Duggan. His kick towards centre half back for the Eagles to Schoenberg. The Demons have held on by 2 points over the Lions at the MCG. A big upset going the way of Melbourne. They bounce back. The Eagles here They find themselves down by 8 points, but they have the ball. Waterman, defensive side of the broadcast wing. Goes backwards to Hoff, back inside defensive 50 to McCarthy. The Dockers have set up behind the ball. The Eagles happy to be patient for the time being. Comes back out towards Hoff and Waterman. Waterman on the lead, calls Hoff out of it, takes the mark, well back of his natural attacking position. Defensive side of the wing, just beyond left half back, called to play on, now just bombs it up the line. Mason Cox flies to the Dockers, couldn't hold on to it, might have caught one high. Umpire said no. Sarong roved it, looping handball into the corridor to Frederick. Now to Erasmus, has to be good, takes the possession, steps around Waterman, kicks inside 50. It's a beautiful kick and a great mark to Jai Amos. Just bodylined the ball, Neil Erasmus, stepped inside Waterman, probably a little easy. And Jai Amos will go back to kick his second. And he'll snap around the corner from 10 metres out. Deep breath. Hands on knees as he wants to make the most of it in his return to form, Jai Amos. Steps around, snaps and goals. Amos has 2 in the quarter. 2 for the game. Fremantle have 3 in a row. 5-4-34 the Dockers, 2-8-20 the Eagles. 14-point margin, 15 minutes into the second. Sharad Wellingham, Jared Schofield, they were patient and then they just turns it over at the contest.
Yeah, Freo are a very good side. When they anything off contest, they're very good at using their shape to drive to the corridor with their hands. And off that bit of play there, a nice soft drop. Sarong on the inside was able to then sort of turn to the corridor and use his hands. And probably Milan Murdoch a little bit sort of folded back on that, just allowed him through the corridor. And really it was just that speed off contest back at him. And yeah, Amos is he's having a moment, isn't he?
They are ranked number 1 in the competition from getting the ball from inside to out from the contest, the Dockers, and that was probably a case of it there.
Perfect example, mate. Good stats.
Restart. Trying to get it away here was Brayshaw. Trying to get to it first, though. Duff Tightler worked it out eventually to Yo for the Eagles. He'll kick into the right forward pocket. There's umpire spotting a free kick. It's going back after Yo was dealt with. Oh, taken high.
Was it not down ground?
It was on the kick.
On the kick, they've called.
It was high, not late.
So Yo will have it about 55 from goal. From right half forward, he'll set it up to the teeth of goal. Harley Reid wanted a big fly, but Mason Cox floating by takes a good mark defensively at full back. Just to get the chorus of boos. The Eagles fans. Kicks across the face of goal to Luke Ryan, who marks.
What's Cox done to the Eagles fans?
Who knows? Plays for the opposition team. Kicks beyond defensive 50. Punched over the boundary line by Ruben Jinby. Someone will tell us.
There was a bit of swagger around the Dirty Pies time when they came over here.
Oh, that's right. You criticised that, yeah.
Gave a little bit to the crowd. The 2018 grand final had a huge quarter and, you know, he was strutting and whatever. So that's what it is, I think.
There was also that, was it the 1 point win that he was involved with here?
That was the Dirty Pies final.
Yeah. Anyway, let us know particularly. 0437 774 774. You want to text us if you're an Eagles fan and tell us why you're unhappy with Mason Cox, if that's the case. Spun it again. Mason Cox doing the ruck work against Duff Tightler. It had a touch. It came out towards Yo, though. Got it immediately to Dersma. Kicks West Coast into the right forward pocket. Pearce was there. Off his hands, though. Baker roaming by. Hurried kick towards full forward. Ryan got in the way. That's a clever hand pass into the ground. Got it to Chapman. Then to Clark, to Wagner. Popped the hand pass over the top. It's coming back here, mind you. He was getting it to Ryan, and a free kick going the way of Clark. He'll have it in the left back pocket for the Dockers. They lead by 14 points. 18 gone in this, the second term of Derby 62.
It's a high ball to the southern side. Dersma in front, couldn't mark. Tracy knocked it down. Wagner got a handball out towards Bolton. Goes back by hand to Brayshaw. Now over the top to Tracy on the southern wing. Has Bolton running past. Dersma putting him under pressure. Forces the handball back towards Tracy, who is tackled as he gathers. Wrapped up by Milan Murdoch, who got him from behind. Good pressure by the Eagles not to give up on that ball. Dersma just forced Bolton to give it away. The ball will be tossed up again. Baker got first hands to it. Handball, though, couldn't find a teammate. It ricochets off bodies, goes out of bounds. That same spot between wing and half forward on the southern side of Perth Stadium. The lights are on, the ring lights, but there's blue skies above us at the moment, so not doing too much. Duff Tyler and Jackson will go out in the ruck. Duff Tyler got a hand on it, went out the back. Dersma tackled by Reed. Got an interesting handball away. Allen, he's gathered. They'll ball it up again. Brayshaw had him. Will be tossed up. Attacking edge of the centre square. The Dockers kicking towards the city end of the ground. Jackson tapped it straight towards Yo. Tunnelled it towards Harley Reid. Back to Yo. Handball out into space. Bo Allen took on the tackler. Clark got him holding the ball. Dockers free kick. Attacking side of the logo on the southern side. Shields his eyes from the sun as he'll send them back forward. Jordan Clark.
They've kicked the past 3 goals, Fremantle. As Clark moves it to Wagner, right up against the boundary, left half forward. Takes a couple of steps inboard. Kicks into the left forward pocket. Tracy, get away from Jinby, juggled the mark, but was able to grab it on the second occasion. He can have a shot himself from 45 out, 45-degree angle to the left.
Just a bit of a stalemate sort of game at the moment.
It just feels a bit of a lull for last 5 minutes.
Not many stoppages in the game either. There's only been about 10 between the arc stoppages for the whole game. So it's an interesting game at the moment.
Josh Tracy looking for a second goal of this Derby 62. Kicks on its way off the boot. It's going to the right. In fact, has it just snuck in? It has, just for a behind. A minor score. 5-5-35 the Dockers, 2-8-20 the Eagles. Into time on in the second.
Lindsay brings it in to Sandy Brock, who kicks down the broadcast side. Jackson in front, juggles the mark. He was looking for Archer Reid. The big Docker got in the way, thought about going laterally. Was shut off in the end, goes short to Jordan Clark. Barely 15. Harley Reid tackles him, and that's going to be 50. And it's probably very stiff because I reckon that travelled about 12 metres. That'll go against Harley Reid, but Jared Schofield, you can't blame him for that. That went 11 metres.
Yeah,
that's stiff.
Yeah, I know, but you're going to play the whistle. So if the umpire hasn't called it, can't presume it's...
it's a free kick, but it wasn't an undisciplined one.
No, that's right. It definitely wasn't. Just the timing of it.
Jordan Clark will have the set shot. Will kick from right on 50. Sends it towards goal. Sends it home. Punches the air. Jumps up on Patrick Voss. It's been a good week for Jordy Clark. His partner announced they're having a baby. Now he's kicked a goal in the Derby. He looks up and about the All-Australian as he runs to the bench. The Dockers 6-5-41 lead the Eagles 2-8-20. 21-point margin, 21 minutes into the second quarter before we hear from Jared Schofield and Sharad Wellingham. Akash Fodadara is downstairs. Akash.
Yeah, Hayden Young just spent a lot of time getting his right hip worked on. Probably a bit of soreness coming in after a while spent out. And just after that goal, Patrick Voss made a beeline for Harley Reid. And I think for the Eagles teammates, he had to make sure Harley didn't engage.
It's an interesting one. Free kick, the timing of it. He's been quite good this first half, Harley, so he'll regroup. He'll be okay.
21 points, Freo's lead. They've kicked the past 4 goals now. Jordan Clark with his first of the season. As the Eagles get the clearance from Kelly to Yo to Harley Reid. Inside forward 50, travels the pack. Brennan Cox more interested in Waterman than anything else. Ball heads towards the boundary line. Was he being held, Baker? No, according to the officials. It's going to be a throw-in. Right, full forward for West Coast, kicking to the Farmer Freeway end in this the second term. 17.3 metres officially according to the television broadcasters. That kick a moment ago, so just long enough to be a mark. Oh, Dersma ran straight into Wagner, went to ground. He bounced up immediately. Ball's with the Eagles through Hewitt at the right forward pocket to Allen to Jinby. Kicks it back inside the forward 50. Ali J. Williams brought it to ground. Chatton was there, he got taken high. He'll have the free kick. Around the neck against Harley Reid, who's, as often is, involved with everything. And at fullback, Chapman from the Bryant Sunshine will stab the ball short, and he'll find Johnson in the pink boots who marks.
Johnson goes wider to Sarong, starting to work his way into the game this quarter. Short to Switkowski. Once again, shields his eyes, goes inboard. Bolton has plenty of space, is able to mark, run, take a bounce. Handball to Matthew Johnson, who handballs laterally, a bit wide for Wagner. Has to go back and get it. Will be able to come to the broadcast side to Luke Ryan, though. He's got time. He just sends a high ball inside 50. No mark taken. Voss off hands, steps through traffic, breaks one. Handball to Switkowski, who drops it. Has to go back and get it. Handballs to no one under pressure. Voss slides over, falls on his backside. Gave it to Bolton. He handballs it towards the boundary. The messy 20 seconds there. Players falling all over the place. The Eagles wanted a hold of the ball decision. Took a couple on Patrick Voss. Did handball it though. It was ineffective. The ball will be tossed back in left forward pocket for the Dockers.
Jackson, front position, as it spun back in. It's hit Jackson. Spilled down, though, to Allen. Hand pass away. Immediately tackling Brayshaw. Wrapped up Davis. Voss was there as well. Still inside forward 50 for the Dockers. It's thrown up again. Bailey Williams won it down. And picked up off the ground by Hoff for West Coast. Kicks to the southern wing, and McVee's up to mark. Sends it back towards the middle of the ground. Goes across the centre circles to Ryan, who marks and immediately plays on with a kick to the logo. Frederick was there. Marks and chips short to Wagner. Switch play from one end of the ground to the other, the Dockers. Now they go back towards full forward. Tracy got away from Jinby, but a good defensive mark. Coming across to take it, Davis. He has it between fullback and centre half back, or Allen rather, I beg your pardon. And Allen thought about going short into the right back pocket. Instead comes to Hoff. Still marks inside defensive 50. It's been a bit flat, Derby 62, to be honest, though Fremantle fans won't care. They lead 6-5-41 to 2-8-20. 25 gone in the second.
High ball up the wing from Hoff, off the hands of Bailey Williams to Jackson. He lost it. Williams went back in. Jackson, quick handball in traffic to Sarong. Now to Pearce. Stood up in the tackle. Handball to Chapman. Over the top to Bolton. Has to gather inside the centre square. Had time to find Pearce by hand again, the captain who stepped around the number one pick in Dersma. Kicks up towards right half forward. Frederick flew, but Davis read it best. It's taken a couple of nice one-on-one marks today. Hamish Davis. He's got the blue boots on again. Kicks up the wing to Bailey Williams, who presents and takes the mark. 20 touches last week, back in the side. A bit quieter so far today. Disposal number 4, his kick backwards, not a great one either. Puts McCarthy under pressure, who had to go and gather it, and is tackled, wrapped up by Tracy, who did well in the end, had to be careful. McCarthy went to ground to pick up the ball. Tracy was very careful not to clumsily get him high. Instead, it'll be a ball up. Jackson taps it to Hayden Young, to Sarong, steps around one, handball to Clark, had a fumble, now gathers, handball forward to Brayshaw. The Dockers lining up to Judd McVee. His kick smothered, straight up in the air at half forward. Taps it back to Matthew Johnson. Now to Heath Chapman. Harassed by Cripps. Got away from him. Kicks inside 50. And Mason Cox takes the mark. And here are the boos. But here is Mason Cox's moment on Dockers' debut. It was messy.
It was a bit ugly. As you said before, though, it was just the damn wall was going to break, wasn't it?
We just saw, I believe then, is just their ability to use their hands to get to the corridor again. But Ryan was a +1 down the line. Bailey Williams was down the line, and there's no representation, so they're forced to go back.
Mason Cox, in his first game for the Fremantle Dockers, he misses. A let-off, kicked it from about 40 metres out. It was a tighter angle, but it's a behind. The Dockers are 6-6-42. The Eagles are 2-8-20, 22-point margin, 27 minutes into the second term on ABC Sport.
Hasn't been a derby to write home about yet. Still looking for something big. They go beyond defensive 50 here, the Eagles. Bailey J. Williams was trying to go early, I thought, for the mark, and staying down. Chapman takes the grab. Shanahan playing back for West Coast in defence at the moment as Chapman puts it back inside forward 50. There was Shanahan flying. Spilled out to Jinby, immediately tackled by Voss. Ball up the call. Still in the right forward pocket here for Fremantle. Dockers kicking to the city end of Perth Stadium in this term. Williams got it down on in turn to Davis. Ball hits the deck as he hand passes it forward, and then Bolton is tackled by McCarthy across the boundary line. for a throw-in. 40 out from Fremantle's attacking goal. 6-6-42 the Dockers, 2-8-20 the Eagles. Results earlier today, North Melbourne by 75 over Richmond and Melbourne by 2 over the defending Premier in Brisbane. Restart. Eagles immediately able to clear their defensive 50, but only as far as Erasmus at right half forward, who kicks towards the teeth of goal, where it's marked there by Brock defensively for West Coast. Out to Hoff, deep in the right back pocket, and he'll chip it short again to Brock, who continued his run.
Time to get one last one of the half. The Eagles, if they go quickly enough, plays on. Kick wasn't great. Sarong able to get a fist in there. Ball spills down towards Reid, who is tackled by Hayden Young. Harley Reid, tackled by Hayden Young. There's a Young for the Eagles, Young for the Dockers, a Reid for the Eagles, a Reid for the Dockers. Two Coxes on the Dockers. There's a lot of confusing nicknames. We'll do our best, or surnames, to make sure you know which one is which as the ball's tossed up. Bailey Williams is tackled by Luke Jackson. 10 seconds left in this first half. The ball tapped down by Jackson Kelly. Handballed it straight to Switkowski. Brayshaw just had to hesitate. Handballed towards Jackson. Goes to Young. They'll run out of time, the Dockers. As he handballs in board to Brayshaw, the half-time siren will beat them. The Dockers able to wrestle momentum in that quarter after the Eagles kicked the first two. They kick the next four. The Dockers 6-6-42. West Coast, they are 2-8-20. The margin is 22 points at the main break here at Perth Stadium.
So for Fremantle, Jai Amos has a couple, and then Clark, Jackson, Voss and Tracy with the other goals. While for West Coast, they're 2 goals off the boot of Elliot Yeo and Josh Lindsay with his first in AFL football, the first round draft pick from last season. It was a 10-point lead for the Dockers at quarter time. It's a 22-point lead at half-time for Fremantle. Just repeating those other games, North Melbourne big winners over Richmond at the Docklands, 20-10, 130 to 7-13-55. At the MCG, the Demons by 2 against the reigning premiers in Brisbane, 16-8, 104 to Brisbane, 5-12, 102. It hasn't been a game that's reached any great heights, and I mean that with respect, particularly to Luke Ryan, who did get a mark over the top of Milan Murdoch. That really wasn't a great height with what's sort of available for a step ladder as Milan Murdoch's concerned. But there's still a half to come. Can West Coast find a way back into this contest? Let's find out. What do our experts make of it all? They both played in these games. They know what it's all about on Derby Day. Sharad Wellingham and Jared Schofield on ABC Sport.
Well, I think if you look from the stoppage point of view, there was only about 10 between the arc stoppages. So you're not seeing that free-flowing transition type football. It's more of a, if you get in the front half, get some stoppage, there's a bit of a stalemate and there's sort of a bit of a lull. But I just think also West Coast took their opportunities early. Fremantle were able to control the ball as the quarter went on and then owned field position as well. And they were able to sort of capitalise. You know, their key players got involved. The backs got a little bit desperate. But I'm looking at sort of the players across the ground. You know, Harley Reid had some impact. Tim Kelly had moments. We saw Yo get going early. But I was just watching the players walk off then. You know, looking at young Elijah Hewitt. He was standing off the group. He would be... We talk at getting in his own head at the moment. I looking at it, if I'm looking at it from a coach's lens, I'm going, how can we inject this guy into the midfield, get him going, might just sort of spark a few things throughout the midfield as well for West Coast, and it preserves the guys that are doing the work like the Harley Reids and the Elliot Yos. But you know,
he's been in the middle though. He's been to a few CBs. He's just not able to get his hands on it.
Yeah, well, this is spasmodic, but it's like because there's been no other stoppages, he's not the transition type, Elijah. Yeah. So because there's not that element to the game as well, it can impact players like that. They need to be around the contest and sort of be that sort of bullocking type player. But
I don't feel like West Coast were, take away the 50 that Harley gave away, I don't feel like they were super undisciplined, but they gave away unnecessary free kicks by not being able to execute. So they weren't able to execute tackles, weren't able to execute a handball that put somebody into space and just invited more pressure, and it created turnovers. And so Freo scored 5-2 from turnovers. So when they were able to do what you said, when they were able to lock it inside their forward half, they have got an extra outside. So they've got a big wall. They've got to try and get it through the Fremantle defence that's set up well, and they don't have the, I suppose, skill to run and carry it out. And so they're dump kicking and it's just going straight back in. So the inside 50s, it didn't look great, but it's pretty even. So West Coast has actually had more inside 50s, but Freo are just so much more efficient.
Yeah, their polish is standing out, and that's probably the fundamental type football that we saw through the middle part of that quarter, where there was the odd cough up or not executing the handball, and then Freo with their hands being one of the best in the competition.
Bang, bang, and it's just gone straight through the corridor, and then they're able to lock it inside their forward 50 for another. And like you said, it wasn't pretty, but it was just, we'll get it in there, we'll lock it up, we'll set up, and good luck for West Coast to try and bring it out. They don't, it's a bit, what do you do? Equalise it and put numbers back outside their defensive 50, but then the defensive 50 is nice and open for Freo just to carve through them.
I think what you can't allow, what I felt is like a Luke Ryan getting involved in the game. He was able to sort of control the play behind the ball. When he's getting the ball and their key players behind the ball are involved, Fremantle, I believe, are always a dangerous beast in terms of what you combat, because they just control the game with the ball as well, just as much as they do with their defensive shape around the ground. But yeah, it's an interesting contest at the moment, because I think West Coast have shown they've had their moments.
Yep.
Just haven't taken their opportunities, and we touched on around their polish in terms of executing the basics. But
which comes from being a young side, and so they're, from mine, I'd say effort and intent. You'd probably go, yeah, boys, we're giving it a tick for the first half. Let's just tidy it up. Let's be a little bit tighter with our disposals, execute our tackles a bit better, not give away those high free kicks, lock it in a little bit more when Freo are trying to transition. Just lock it in. Don't let them come corridor. And I reckon that they'll put themselves in a position where they can continue to fight. And they tighten it up just that 3-4%. You never know. The game can turn very quickly.
Well, you talk about the contest. The contest game is actually working in West Coast's favour. When they get it right, it's just, once again, it's back to that efficiency. When Freo get their hands on the ball, their good players are involved in those phases of play, and they're able to capitalise. When you're watching sort of off the ball, the work rate of a Tracy and the way that he presents at the ball, and to think that he's only 23 years of age.
Yeah, I know.
And I'll try and compare that to the players that I've sort of been able to rub shoulders with now that are the 21s, and you look at Duff Tyler, but you look at the Archer Reed, he's 21, I think it is. You look at these type of players, you think about, geez, in 2 years' time, can they be those type of players? And that's what West Coast supporters should get excited about. But when you see the presence of those players in the front half for Fremantle, it can be daunting. When the ball's coming out with speed,
doing a pretty good job on it.
He definitely is, yeah. But when that ball's coming out with speed off contest, doesn't matter how good as you are. It's a hard thing to defend.
They're just so clean, aren't they? And even there was one occasion in that most recent quarter where they were under pressure and they were able, through hands, to work it from right half forward all the way around to left half forward by hand. Everyone with one motion received the football, handed it on, hit their teammate. It then set themselves up to be able to get an inside 50 with a kick to take a mark, and then they went back and had a shot at goal. Whereas West Coast have to work so much harder because not everything's one touch. There's a little fumble, under pressure, ball doesn't go to a player. That's where Fremantle are ahead today.
And when we say sharp, it's not just being clean. The ball's moving through the air so much quicker that it's, West Coast, it's a loopy handball or it's a slow handball. Those little things, that's what's enabling Freo to... That's why they can go corridor, because they just go bang, bang, clean and fast. So it's really, really hard because you draw a player and the ball's gone before you even really... know what's going on.
Well, because their method is so polished, you see it. You see West Coast trying to show the right intent to pressure on that ball, but they trade him from the corridor, they trade up, and then all of a sudden you lose. Then the outer layer of everything just collapses in, and that's when they do get those easy balls on the open side or open side plays, because that's their method that they force you to trade in on that. And if you don't get it right, you're just slightly off. They'll definitely expose that.
Thoughts of Jared Schofield and Sharad Wellingham, our experts. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. This is Derby 62 on 102.5 ABC Perth and ABC WA. We'll come back with all the stats for you very shortly and hear more from our experts. But right now at halftime, with West Coast needing to find something, Fremantle, well, it might be an Eagles home game, lead by 22 points at the main break. We'll pause here at Perth Stadium and take the latest from the ABC newsroom.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. The escalating standoff over the critical Strait of Hormuz is threatening to deepen the energy crisis, rattling the global economy and pushing the United States and Iran towards renewed conflict. Larry Buttrose has the latest.
Yesterday, Iran said it was reopening the vital waterway to all maritime traffic, but then abruptly reversed the decision on the same day over the United States refusing to lift its blockade of Iranian ports and ships. Iran has already attacked at least one ship trying to transit the strait and says it's in full control of the waterway. US President Donald Trump had welcomed the reopening and was upbeat about the chances of the US and Iran quickly reaching a peace deal to end the war. But with time now ticking down to the end of the current 2-week ceasefire on Wednesday Australian time, it's unclear what Washington's next move will be and how Tehran will respond.
Japan, the US and South Korea have accused North Korea of threatening the peace of the region after it test-launched a salvo of ballistic missiles. North Asia correspondent Natalie Whiting has more.
Japan's Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi says it appears North Korea launched multiple ballistic missiles early this morning, but they fell outside the country's exclusive economic zone. In the wake of the ballistic missile launches, representatives from Japan, the US and South Korea have held a telephone meeting to analyse information. They've released a statement calling on North Korea to cease such provocations that threaten the peace and security of the region and the international community. Natalie Whiting, ABC News, Tokyo.
Bulgarians are going to the polls today in the country's 8th parliamentary election in 5 years. The front-runner is pro-Russian former President Rumen Radev, who's promising to end a spiral of short-lived governments and stamp out corruption. Radev is seen as a Eurosceptic who opposes military support for Ukraine's war effort against Moscow. He stepped down from the presidency in January to run in the election, which comes after mass protests forced out the previous government in December. The governments of Brazil, Spain and Mexico are vowing to step up coordinated aid to Cuba. The countries say Cuba is facing a humanitarian crisis caused by the US blockade of the Caribbean island nation. In a joint statement, they're calling for dialogue in line with the UN Charter, saying the Cuban people must be free to determine their own future. It comes after Spain hosted an international summit aimed at countering the rise of the far right in global politics. Back home, an unlicensed learner driver has been charged with dangerous driving causing death following a fatal incident outside a Melbourne fan convention yesterday afternoon. Ethan White reports.
Police say 3 pedestrians were leaving a comic convention at the Melbourne Showgrounds yesterday afternoon when a car mounted a curb and struck the group walking on the footpath. One of the pedestrians, a 20-year-old Keysborough man, died at the scene. Another 20-year-old man remains in hospital in a stable condition with significant lower body injuries. The alleged driver, a 33-year-old man from Werribee, was arrested by an off-duty police officer. The unlicensed learner has been charged with dangerous driving causing death and culpable driving and will appear in the Melbourne Magistrates Court later today.
Investigations are underway after a body was found in a burnt-out car in Queensland's scenic Rim early this morning. Emergency services were called to the Mount Lindesay Highway at Palin Creek to reports of a car and grass fire. Once it was extinguished, a body was found inside. A crime scene was declared. Free vaccinations for RSV will be offered to older Australians from next month. Those aged 75 and over and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people from the age of 60 will be eligible to receive the free jab from May the 15th. RSV is a common respiratory virus that can lead to hospitalisation, intensive care and can even be fatal. In sport, the Newcastle Jets have secured the A-League Soccer's Premier Plate in the men's competition. The trophy awarded to the side at the top of the table at the end of the regular season. Bridget Murphy has more.
The Jets' quest for their first plate came down to this afternoon's result between the Central Coast Mariners and Auckland. Before the match, the Jets were 4 points clear at the top of the ladder. If second place Auckland won, there'd only be a single point between the sides, with matches to play in next week's final round of the season. But the Mariners, the Jets' usual arch rivals, sank the New Zealanders 1-0, handing the plate to the Novocastrians. Poetically, Newcastle will host the Mariners at Hunter Stadium next week for their final match of the regular season. Finals start next month.
Are there any winners in the cost of living crisis? What's causing the algal bloom?
Questions. They've never been more important. So the one thing we'll never question is our duty to keep asking. ABC News. Keep asking.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Back to Kelly, broke the Bolton tackle, stepped inside Warner as well. That was well played by the former club champion. Into the right forward pocket, spills off hands to Yo, who snaps and gives the Eagles their first.
Yo, strong in the tackle, handball to Waterman, high kick towards the middle of the 50. Davis drops the mark, handball back to Josh Lindsay, snap on goal, bounces through. His first goal in AFL footy comes in his first derby.
Tracy sends it inside the attacking 50. Amos curl it through to put Fremantle back in front.
Towards Jackson and Boss. Jackson got rid of Tyler Young, and the free kick is going the Dockers' way for a hold. Luke Jackson directly in front, 20 metres out, pokes it through. Frederick now to Erasmus, has to be good, takes the possession, steps around Waterman, kicks inside 50. It's a beautiful kick and a great mark to Jai Amos. Steps around, snaps and goals. Goes short to Jordan Clark, barely 15. Harley Reid tackles him, and that's going to be 50, and it's probably very stiff. Kick from right on 50. Sends it towards goal, sends it home.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Welcome back to Perth Stadium. Both teams just making their way out onto the field at exactly the same time. The Dockers in their away kit, the white with the 3 purple chevrons. The Eagles in their home royal blue with the gold wings. There's some other sport to bring you up to date with. You would have heard the A-League scores in the news, but the National Rugby League, the Roosters have beaten the Knights today, 38 points to 24, so a 14-point win for the Roosters, and Parramatta too good for Canterbury, a 38 points to 20 win to the Eels over the Bulldogs, so the Eels by 18 points over the Bulldogs. A bit of super netball score to bring you up to date with. The West Coast Fever continue on their merry way. They've beaten the Mavericks in Melbourne 59 goals to 47, and it was an away win too in the other game today. The Giants 51 lost to the Lightning 59, but great news if you're listening on 102.5 ABC Perth with the Fever getting another win today, and a big one too, 59 to 47. Just repeating those results earlier today. In the AFL, the Derby, the final game of round 6. North Melbourne by 75 points over Richmond, 20-10-130 to the Tigers, 7-13-55, so a 75-point win to North. And Melbourne have bounced back from the disappointment of losing in gather round to Essendon. This is a big win up against Brisbane, and the Lions had won the previous 3 games as well. Melbourne hanging on to win a thriller at the MCG, 16-8-104 to Brisbane, 15-12-102. That's certainly going to be one of the major talking points, that Brisbane effort, and also what that means for Brisbane in Lachie Neale's 300th game. Not the result that the former Docker would have been hoping for at all. As we welcome our listeners from around the network to Perth Stadium, it's half-time. The teams are warming up, about to get the third term underway. The Dockers lead by 22 points, 6-6-42 to the Eagles, 2-8-20. Fremantle led by 10 points at quarter time. They extended that margin out to 22 by the half. Jai Amos has got a couple of goals. Jordan Clark, Luke Jackson, Patrick Voss and Josh Tracy with the other ones for Fremantle. West Coast just with 2 goals, and they both came in that second term. Elliot Yeo kicked one back into the team, and Josh Lindsay, the draft pick number 19 in the 2025 draft, got his first goal in his AFL career, the 19-year-old. So that's how it stands at the moment. Clint Wilden alongside Mitch Turner in commentary. It's overcast and a cool day here at Perth Stadium. That hasn't been the reason why the game has reached no real heights so far for either of these teams. But Derby 62, always fiercely contested. It is an Eagles home game. Their side will be hoping they can give their supporters something more to cheer about. Before we get stuck into the third quarter, what do the other numbers tell us, Mitch Turner?
Some of the team numbers through the first half of footy are the clearances. The Eagles win that at the moment. They're leading that 14-13. Contested possession also going the Eagles' way, 62-56. Tackle count, the Dockers up by 4. The inside 50s, 27-24. The Eagles' way. and the hit-outs 22-20 the Dockers' way. Disposals-wise, Luke Ryan leads all comers on the ground. He has 16 for the Dockers, Clark 13, Chapman 12. For the Eagles, McCarthy 15, Harley Reid 12, 11 for Yo and Kelly. It's the Dockers by 22 points.
Our experts have both played in this fixture, Sharrod Willingham and Jared Schofield, and Jared's also coached in this game as well. If there was a single message to be told to either of these teams, gents, what would you be saying, Jared, if you were in charge of West Coast?
I'd be saying a bit of run and gun, take the ball off the line, play with a bit of speed, and give the West Coast supporters and forwards something to look at, and because those forwards are dangerous when they get open field.
And I did this deliberately, but Sharrod, you get to play Justin Longmuir. What would you be saying?
More of the same. Just continue on and put the game to bed nice and early, boys. Let's make sure it's all wrapped up by three-quarter time. Don't let them have a chance to, come at us hard in the last quarter.
So Fremantle by 22 points it is. Derby 62. Fremantle have dominated recent meetings between these two sides. They've won 8 of their past 9. They've won the past 3 in a row. And they've won their last 4 matches in a row. They're certainly one of the teams to beat in 2026. How will they go in this third term? Let's find out on ABC Sport. Here's Mitch Turner.
So it's advantage Dockers to start the second half, and they win the first hit out through Jackson, but Bailey Williams to the Eagles. He did the roving, handball to Yo, now to Harley Reid, has some space on Bolton, kicks towards the top of the goal square, Waterman marks, plays on goals. It took all of 13 seconds for the Eagles to get on the board in the second half. It took him an entire quarter in the first half to get a goal, but Waterman, he bangs it through for his first. He's had the yips lately, but he couldn't miss that. 3-8-26 West Coast, 6-6-42 Fremantle. Margin back to 16 points. Probably a nice one to get when you've got the yips going. And
Shaz running into an open goal.
2 metres
very
out.
nice. It was awesome work at the CV by Elliot Yo, and that's what they need. They need that big body in there, and he was able to offer it. So Jackson, clear hit-out winner, but Yo's ability to push Sarong right under the ball and have a heap of space coming out, giving the forwards a nice early look.
It's a run of 4 unanswered goals by Fremantle as they headed towards half-time. Jake Waterman, a much-needed goal for his confidence. Neither ruck with a telling tap. It's spilled down here to Harley Reid. Gives it to the Eagles in Williams. Kicks into the left-forward pocket. Waterman had a couple to beat. Bounces behind him. Goes to try to gather again. Bouncing to Ryan, who thought he was infringed. Ball on the deck. Picked up by Chapman. Held to him by 2 Eagles. Will ball it up according to the officials.
Jakey's worn one here in the head.
Yep. Claret coming out from the bridge of the nose. Jackson palmed it down straight to Yo. Got a hand pass out to Schoenberg. Hand pass to Murdoch. Manufactured a kick to no one in particular. Trying to scoop up that was Brayshaw. And seen across the boundary line by Yo. Still in the left forward pocket. The blood rule has been called. Here's a nasty gash. It's actually above the left eyebrow for Jake Waterman. As he went in towards Ryan, threw himself into the football and copped I think it was a knee from Ryan, accidental. He comes off the ground to rapturous applause. Eagles fans will be thrilled that he's got himself on the goal kickers list. It's an 18-point lead for the Dockers, 2 and a bit gone.
That was not nice footage.
Oh, no.
The Docks just ripped it open. Had a look at him.
I'm glad I missed it. Handball from Sarong from the stoppage. On the ground to Warner, across to Jordan Clark. High ball up the southern side. Temperatures dropped a little bit. Not in the contest, though, as McCarthy juggles a mark. Josh Tracy not happy. Thought he got a hand on it. Bit of cloud cover above us. Flags waving towards the Graham Farm at Freeway end. Inside 50 go West Coast at the back. Jackson takes the mark. A couple of Eagles clattered into. Wanted a free kick. Bailey Williams, one of them. Not forthcoming. So the Lions taking a bit more effect now to start this second half. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Up the wing goes Jackson. Strong mark by Tracy. Has players streaming forward out the back. Chips it in the path of Amos. Handball to Switkowski. He's got Voss running back to goal. Just has to find him and does. It's happened a few times today, the Dockers. They win that ball. They get out the back. And Patrick Voss lining up the goal number 2 from 10 to 15 metres out.
Well, it's just another example of going straight back into density. Where their spare is, I think might have been Duggan calling for the lateral kick, and maybe just didn't take the opportunity to take that option and come in from a different angle inside our forward 50 West Coast. And this is about the third or fourth time Fremantle have got him out the back.
Patrick Voss has won today to answer back to the Eagles. Voss kicks, Voss goals, Voss celebrates. 2 for Patrick Voss. The Dockers restore the 22-point margin in their favour. 7-6-48 Fremantle. West Coast 3-8-26. 4 minutes played in this third term. Jared Schofield, Sharad Wellingham are our experts. You mentioned a couple of times they win that ball on the wing. It makes a big difference in the contest.
Well, we talked about it before, where it looks like West Coast are working so much harder to score, and Fremantle just do the easy ones. And I just thought there was an opportunity to take the ball from a different angle and go inside their front half and make the Fremantle defence just think a little bit more about where that ball's coming in from.
Maybe not kick it to the ruckman sitting.
Probably. Bailey Williams' follow-up at centre bounce too has been quite awesome. Dynamic too, so hopefully they can get this one.
Have a wrestle between Sarong and Reid. It's to the right of the centre circles from where we watch. Spill down here for the Dockers. Kelly went to ground. Bolton gathered. Kicked inside forward 50. Wanted Amos. Couldn't mark it. Jimmy looks to tap it back. Switkowski going through. Tries to pick it up. Amos eventually does. His hand pass was straight to Allen, though, of the Eagles. It's beyond defensive 50. Johnson under pressure from Jimby. Takes it across the line for a throw-in. About 55 out from Freo's attacking goal. They're heading to the left of our broadcast position in this, the third term. Jake Waterman's getting some running repairs done downstairs. Got the bandage around the head. Spun back into play. Williams, front position. Someone to palm it down. Ricochets off players. Comes to Johnson. Got it to Clark. Kicked it straight into Yo. Up in the air it went. Baker punched it forward to Duff Tytler. He got tackled. Got a hand pass out. Harley Reid just hacks it away. There's a free kick coming here for being taken high. The Eagle in Duff Tytler will have it. We'll have it at left half back. 7-6-48 the Dockers. 3-8-26 the Eagles. 6 gone in the third.
I'll return the ball all the way back to Duff Tytler. As you see the replay, first bit of the tackle just probably did slip above the shoulder from Clark. Pretty good effort to get the big man high. Duff Tytler goes up the outer side. Yo in front. Jackson got there and got hands to it. Couldn't mark. Tapping it through was Baker. Then just scooped it forward. Murphy Reid intercepts. Handball to Sarong. Back to Murphy Reid. Takes a bounce running across his defensive 50. Has to be perfect. Good shepherd from Ryan on Dersman. A great kick from Reid to Frederick, who marks and his legs. The Dockers can take the advantage. They do. Warner back to Murphy Reid, doing a mountain of work here, and that's a beautiful kick up towards half forward, where Dudley takes the mark. Wants to wheel and go. He does kick a little high for Josh Tracy, who had separation on Jimby. Ball at ground level, stolen by Bolton. Takes it, gathers on the left. Kick towards goal is shallow. It is marked just inside the line in the right back pocket for West Coast by Duff Tytler, who can go short in his defensive goal square to Lindsay.
It plays on immediately. Steers into the left back pocket. This is Allen. Bo Allen short, waiting for it was Brock. Getting there though, Brayshaw knocked it down. It came to Tracy. They work it in towards Murphy Reid, who looks to kick hurriedly under pressure towards goal. Hoff did well. Applied the pressure. Reid misses, saying to a couple of teammates, I think, should I have been aware that there was some pressure coming. So a minor score. 7-7 plays 3-8. The Eagles long towards the outer wing. Baker taken high. Free kick against Brayshaw. Baker will have it just shy of centre wing, southern side.
Comes in ball towards Dersma, who marks and wants to bring it further across. Complete the switch to Harley Reid. Marks in the centre square. Had a runner in Brock. Chose not to use him. Instead comes wider out to the broadcast side where Schoenberg marks. Slowed him down immediately here, the Dockers. Schoenberg pushes back off the mark, gives himself some room, kicks high towards right half forward. Shanahan in front, couldn't mark under the pressure from Ryan.
Doesn't give them a lot of options when they go wide and slow just because it lets Freo set up so well.
Murphy Reid's had a good start to the quarter. He's had 4 touches. Ball spun back in on the paint of 50. Jackson in front of Williams. Tapped it down to Sarong. Immediately tackled. Spilled it. Reid came through. He went without it. Just dropped the ball. Dersma. He's dispossessed. Bolton Taps it to space. Straight, though, to Kelly from the Eagles. Snap into the pocket. Cox and Reid wrestling. This is Archer Reid who win the free kick. Cox had the arms around. Archer Reid is going to have a tough shot. Right on the paint. Just inside right half forward. Sharrett, let's go. Does he kick it?
I don't know. No, I'm going to back him in. He needs to take his opportunity here.
Archer Reid, drop punt from the tight angle. It's across the face, off hands, out of bounds. You had to back him in, the young man. It was a tough kick. The percentages would have been less than 10, I imagine, but he gave it a go. It's off hands, out of bounds, boundary thrown left forward pocket for the Eagles. They trail by 23 points.
Third derby for Archer Reid. One of the Eagles yet to experience a win in these fixtures. Derby 62 in the West on ABC Sport. Spun back in from behind. Duff Tightler got a fist to it. Harley Reid couldn't gather. Sarong could. Right back pocket. Gave it out again to Jackson, then to Johnson. Beyond defensive 50. Mason Cox got a touch on it. Here's Murphy Reid bursting through. Got a hand pass away from Hofford. Comes to Voss. Kicks the Dockers towards right half forward. Switkowski's out after it. Jinby came the other way and got a touch. He's able to work it on again towards Brock. Back to Jinby. He's done really well. That's outstanding play from Ruben Jinby. And then he found Tyler Young, who marked it left half back. Moving it on again to Hewitt. We'll go downstairs in a moment to Lindsay. Short pass forward. Dersma. Young applied the pressure. Dersma went to ground. Young spoiled it out. It came to Johnson again. Now to Clark. Kicks into the centre circles. Sarong marks on the defensive edge for Fremantle.
Waits for a moment. Now handballs to Jordan Clark, who kicks inside 50. Kicked in favour Amos, but he did beautifully to take the mark. He had to stop, prop, work his way off McCarthy, and in the end, he takes the mark and will have the set shot from about 45 metres out. Slight angle to the left to Cash Fodenar downstairs.
Sam Switkowski just in a little bit of trouble. Was very slow to get up from that contest with Jinby, and he's still feeling around his chest and ribs area.
Yeah, I reckon have the wind taken out of him, Sam Switkowski. It's on the hands and knees. Will keep an eye on him. Jai Amos, though, lining up the goal number 3. A deliberate approach from the left foot up. Sinks the slipper into the ball. He likes it immediately. Didn't even look at the goal umpire. Just threw the right fist in the air and went straight to his teammates. The Dockers are just starting to draw clear. 29 points now, the margin. 8-7-55, Fremantle, West Coast 3-8-26. We've played 11 and a half minutes in the third term. Sharrod Wellingham and Jared Schofield up in the box here for ABC Sport.
I think for me, the last couple of passages of play where West Coast have been done back the other way is playing straight football.
Yep.
They bring the ball back inside. They try and hit a short kick. You know, there it gets called play on. But if they kept sort of changing the angles and bring the ball to the open side, gives the West Coast forwards an opportunity. I think if you go slow or you go straight, it just plays into the hands of the Fremantle defenders that set up so well behind the ball, and then they get open field on transition.
Did you make of the marking craft from Jai Amos in that contest?
He was completely out of position. He did a super job.
The restart comes down to Duff Tightler. Got it against Cox. Kicks towards Cripps. Looks the play on by hand from 50 out to Yo. Here's Dersma. Great smother, Wagner. Ball spills to ground. Eagles still have it. Dersma trying to get it out to Yo under pressure. Shanahan involved. Going through Chapman. Mopped it up for the Dockers. Gave it to Johnson. Then to Young. Here's a chance again for Fremantle. Erasmus at left half back. Finds Switkowski. He's okay again. And he takes the mark at left half back. Switkowski on a short run. Got the kick away towards the commentary wing. Bounced down low in front of Jackson. Gathered it beautifully at pace. Hand pass to Sarong. Back to Jackson. Tackled well by Murdoch. Now that's taking on someone outside your weight division. Fremantle, meantime, move it into the middle of the ground. It comes to Voss, and he has it on the outer edge of the two centre circles. He'll come back towards the commentary side. Not a great kick. Mason Cox under pressure. Knocked out of his grasp. Johnson gathers, gives it to McVie. Again in turn to Young. He goes to goal from 51 out. He's missed to the right-hand side. A minor score. 8-8-56 the Dockers. 3-8-26 the Eagles. It's a game-high 30-point lead. 13 into the third.
Got a bit of feedback too. Hayden Young from one Josh Tracy. First game back in, eyes lit up in the derby. Tracy in the lead just kind of looked at him and said, I know you're excited, Hayden, but...
Any danger?
Just right here. Oh, here's some danger. McCarthy has played on, run out of full back. He kicked it straight into the smothering hands of Josh Tracy. Now the Eagles, a bit of chaos. It might actually work for them. They've got to just go. Out from left half back. Jimby receives it from Brock. Handballs over the top to Duggan, who is tackled by Murphy Reid. Terrific tackle. Umpire called play on. And the ball's gone out of bounds. So it'll actually be lassoed. The ball, as Duggan went to ground, hit his foot kind of accidentally. So the original call was correct disposal, but it rolled out of bounds, which means it's a last disposal. And Murphy Reid, in the end, actually gets the free kick. Goes inboard. So Hayden Young, just beyond right half forward, kicks in towards Jackson, who can't mark off his chest. Spill to Amos, he was tackled. Dispossessed, Tyler Young, kick was smothered. Rolling ball, Hewitt couldn't gather. Young for the Dockers. Handball to Switkowski. Oh, looking for Johnson. Cripps got a hand in there. McVee, he gathers handballs forward. Davis, inside defensive 50 for West Coast. High kick, marked by Warner.
Warner goes across half back. Perfect kick finds Clark. Off a step, chips it towards Wagner, who marks. 50 from goal. He's at right half forward for the Dockers. Does he like his chances? I think he'll be looking to set it up. He will. Towards right full forward. Jackson flew off his hands. It'll bounce through. Tumbling behind him through the major opening, but for a minor score. 31 points the Dockers lead. 15 gone in the third as the Eagles bring it immediately into play. It comes to Davis in the right back pocket. Hand pass to Lindsay. Hand passes again to Kelly at right half back.
Kelly kicks up the wing, looking to Yo. Was cut off by McVee. The Dockers are controlling territory. Inboard towards Clark. Took it on the half volley. This is a terrible kick out towards the southern side. Bo Allen's got two Dockers to beat. Taps it to his advantage. He's got Wagner for company now. Sockers it. He's done well, the young man. Sockers it forward again. All the way to left half forward. He's running away from Cox. And in the end, Chapman was able to gather the Dockers. Handball back to Brennan Cox. Now to Wagner. Tucked up against the boundary line. Under pressure, kicks it straight to Duggan, who plays on. Kicks it inside 50 and choppers one towards Brennan Cox, who can mark and switch it across the face of goals to Warner. Outside defensive 50 to Young, and the Dockers might be on.
And Young to Switkowski, marking on the logo. Turns and immediately kicks forward to Reid. Murphy Reid having a big quarter. Inside forward 50 it goes. Amos marks. 45 from goal. Slightly better than a 45-degree angle to the right.
It's just that example again of the finishing work, the polish, the missed kick by Duggan. The game's been high-flowing, and it's they couldn't defend the ground then, West Coast either.
Jai Amos with 3 goals to his name today. And a tough start to the year. He's found form of late. Leading goal kicker a couple of seasons ago. Very close to the man on the mark, and then he's missed to the left-hand side with that. 8:10:58 the Dockers, 3:8:26 the Eagles, 17 gone in the third. Sunday footy on ABC Sport, on ABC Local Radio, News Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen.
Duggan to left half back, kicks it down the wing. Brennan Cox back with the flight, couldn't mark, hit the deck hard. At the back though for the Dockers, Wagner. Nice kick inboard to Johnson. Handball to Hayden Young. Steps around Harley though. Good smother by Harley Reid. It falls to Hewitt. Shakes a tackle. Handball forward to Willem Dersmer, who's trying to move it quickly. Missed his hand with a handball. And the Dockers will turn it over. McVee to Chapman. Inside 50. Tracy wanted to push from Brock. Didn't get it. And Jinby able to take the intercept mark for West Coast and come wide by foot to Tyler Young, whose kick up the wing is intercepted by Luke Ryan. And the Dockers will have it again.
On Dersmer, didn't find him. Luke Ryan tells everyone just to calm down, gesturing with the right hand. He looks inboard and will go to the middle of the ground to find McVee. Back to the right defensive point of the centre square. Clark marks and plays on off a step to Young, who spills the mark he should have taken. Had 2 bites at it, had time to regather, gave it to Chapman. Short foot pass to Murphy Reid. Kicks towards Amos, who marks again inside forward 50. This is going to be a tough angle. Deep in the right forward pocket, probably a metre or 2 in from the boundary and about 47 from goal.
Just gets a little bit dejecting for the West Coast players, doesn't it, when kicks aren't hitting their target, handballs aren't hitting their hand. It just sucks the bit of life that they are trying to show.
It certainly does. It certainly does.
Jai Amos has kicked 4 goals on 9 occasions in his career. This looks perfect off the boot. Make that 10 occasions he's kicked 4 goals. Jai Amos turned to celebrate and then realised that everyone standing in that area of the ground was an Eagles supporter. So he went back to his teammates to high-five them instead. The Dockers have got their 9th. They're 9-10-64. A new game-high lead. The Eagles are 3-8-26 at the 19-minute mark of the third. The Dockers lead is out to 38 points in Derby 62. Our experts, Jared Schofield and Sharad Wellingham.
I love a team that can use different methods and have different avenues. And that one was a turnover. Wasn't turnover go fast because they had the density in front of them. So ability to go lateral, go out the other side, and then still find a mark inside their forward 50 because their forwards have got such great leading patterns.
Murphy Reid's just starting to run around on his own, isn't he? He's just kind of the beneficiary of some of that. Running into good spots. Ball up in the middle. Bailey Williams tapped it out in front of Willem Dersma. Had Bolton for company. Forced the ball out with a tackle. On hands and knees, Schonberg got it towards Reid. He was taken high after the handball. Mason Cox got him. He's gone down, Harley Reid, but he can get up. He's been given the free kick, rightfully so. Try to kind of give the handball forward and go, and Mason Cox just got him high. So Harley Reid free kick in the middle of the ground. Kicks it inside, forward 50. Shanahan pushed under it at the back. Erasmus tried to claim the mark. It was off a set of hands, and he's tackled. Goes to ground. Ball up at the top of the goal square. The attacking one for the West Coast Eagles. Brayshaw standing next to Harley Reid. Ball tapped down. Yo over the top of the Docker. McVie, his handball cut off. Waterman to Baker. Spins through traffic. Handball to Yo. Quick snap. Straight to a Docker and Carl Warner. Under pressure. The Dockers still trying to work it out. Erasmus, he's tackled by Waterman. Was having a red-hot crack trying to lift his side. It'll be a ball up inside forward 50 in the right forward pocket of the Eagles. They trail by 38 points.
Put up into the air. Mason Cox went to ground. Bailey J got the fingertips on it. Spilled out towards Elliot Yo. Tackled immediately by Warner. Ball up. Deep in the right forward pocket for the Eagles. Throwing up again. Mason Cox palmed it down. Straight to Cripps. Tackled immediately by Bolton. Threw the ball on the boot. Ricocheted away and is over the boundary line for a throw-in. They've kicked the past 3 goals of the game, Fremantle, to go out to that 38-point lead. Again, it's Mason Cox against Williams. They lock arms. Mason Cox palmed it down. Got it to Erasmus. Hurried kick only as far as Dersma. To Shanahan for the Eagles. Here's Harley Reid. He's going to put it out of bounds on the full in the right forward pocket, and that is a dead set 15 rows back. Under pressure. Decided he'd just throw it on the boot. Got nowhere near the big sticks, and there's one young Dockers fan there, delighted to get a touch, and a much older one as well, the footy. 9-10-64 the Dockers, 3-8-26 the Eagles, 22 gone in the third.
Pearce has the ball, centre half back, goes out the outer side to McVie, who takes off, takes 2 bounces, running away from Archer Reid, takes a third, 65 out, kicks inside, 50 was looking for Voss, cut off well by McCarthy for the Eagles. Can send the ball back out the southern side, Waterman outnumbered, had Warner and Pearce to compete with, and Warner punches it over the boundary line on that outer side for a boundary throw-in.
Even that, the option from McCarthy, kick it to a 2v1. You've got to continue to use the numbers around you and run and chain it.
Yeah, we just saw another example of Fremantle being able to get out to the open side off a defensive 50 stoppage for them.
Shallow throw-in. Williams tapped it straight to Yo, who was tackled immediately.
Like, they're playing so high up, they bring the game skinny. As soon as they win any ball off stoppage or off uncontested play, they just go open side.
8 disposals for both Murphy Reid and Judd McVie this quarter, and almost for Matty Johnson if they pass that one as a disposal. One umpire said play on, and that's the call. He goes to ground, ball's picked up. Schonberg, he's slung in a tackle, comes to Murphy Reid, to Bolton, had a fumble, then tackled by Hoff. Really well done by the Eagle.
Yeah, lucky
down low.
Because they were gone off to the races again if that one from Bolton had have got out.
Mason Cox against Williams. Williams did well, moved Cox out from under it, then he got bumped and lost it trying to get a kick away. Wagner threw it on the boot, but only as far as right half forward, mopped up here by Young of the Eagles. to a sliding mark taken by Bo Allen. Nicely done. Racing by McCarthy. Got around Erasmus. Took one bounce on the logo. Commentary wing. Then a second. Kicked inside forward 50. Baker marks. Best move of the day from West Coast. Baker can have a shot from right in front, the co-captain and last year's club champion. He'll be kicking from 45 out.
Now we know McCarthy's a good kick, but even had, as you said, Sharon, the opportunity to use his hands to run that ball as well. A great connect going inside forward 50.
Liam Baker, he's on his way in. You can hear from the reaction of those behind the goals. The Eagles have got their fourth, and Baker has his first of Derby 62. Taking the opportunity that presented itself. West Coast in a run of 3 Dockers goals. They're 4-8-32, the Eagles. The Dockers 9-10-64, 24 gone in the third. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Our experts, Sharad Wellingham and Jared Schofield.
You're exactly right, Sco. The decision to run and carry was exactly right, but he's going to give himself a little bit more time by using that forward handball and then demanding it back. He's still going to get it in the same position, but
exactly right.
In another instance, it might draw a Fremantle player that'll put that pressure on, and then he's going to be able to overlap. And that one worked, but in the next time they try and do it, it might not work.
Yeah, exactly right. The beautiful bit of that play, speed off the intercept,
turnover
over the open side, changed angles inside forward 50.
You've been calling for it all game, Gareth Schofield, and they finally did it. They got a goal, the Eagles. Sarong, high clearing kick, won't get out of the centre square. Duggan punches it into the path, though, of Wagner for the Dockers. Gets away from Schonberg, little shake and shimmy. Now kicks it inside forward 50. Amos the target, good fist from Tyler Young. First one there is Jimby for the Eagles. Dangerous kick across his defensive goal square. But able to find Hamish Davis right on his own behind line. Calls the play on, will kick up the broadcast side. Getting to the front is Jackson. Big fist from behind came from Bailey Williams. Murphy Reid couldn't handle it. Now Chapman in there. Murphy Reid goes back in. Handball to Luke Ryan. Brayshaw and Luke Ryan just go over the top of the ball, and Erasmus tackled eventually over the line by Brady Hoff. The ball will be tossed in there right in front of the Cash Fodder.
Yeah, Archer Reid has just gone down into the rooms with the Eagles doctor.
Still 2 Reeds out there, by the way. One for each side, Murphy and Harley. Jackson got it down, but it came to Murdoch. Floated a kick towards the commentary wing, and then leaping up to take the mark was Chapman. Did well. Asking to Duff Tytler on the way through as well. Chapman wants someone to run towards him. Take a couple of steps to his right, and then kick towards left half forward. Up and almost a terrific grab. Jinby got hands to it. Comes to ground for the Eagles nonetheless. Huge mark as Davis kicks towards right half forward. Dockers had the numbers as Cripps went to ground. Scooped up by Tracy. Now to Chapman, back to Tracy. Took on Baker. Just got the hand pass away. Frederick couldn't take it cleanly under pressure. Well done, Hewitt. Almost affected the turnover, but then tackled was Kelly. It spilled out to Ryan, to Frederick. The Dockers away towards right half forward. There's 2 there. Jackson gathers. Elects to go by a hand to Switkowski. Switkowski towards full forward. They could have raffled it, Erasmus and Voss. And Erasmus marks. He'll go back and have a shot from no more than about 12 out.
And there it is. There's the instance where Kelly probably should have used the handball, put himself into a bit of space. Turnover. Slingshot.
That was the bounce of Jimby off the ground.
He got
to get back up.
He almost went straight to his feet.
Huge fly. Erasmus kicks around the body and kicks truly for Freo. 10-10-70 the Dockers. They respond again. Every time they're challenged, they hit back on the scoreboard. West Coast, the 4-8-32. 28 gone in the third. That lead is back to an equal game high 38 points. Goodness me, that was a great try from Jimby, as we just saw on the replay screen. And he's done well not to get hurt. He landed heavily enough.
He's made a rock.
he is a bit of a beast, the young man, but
I feel sorry for the ground.
I just like the fact that he came across to try an aerial intercept, going at the game. They look so much more efficient and dangerous when they're going at the game. Even that kick from Davis to go quicker to a contest, they nearly got through that. But unfortunately, just that little moment from TK.
That was Josh Tracy, the rundown on Tim Kelly as well, just to force the pressure back in the middle. Harley Reid gave a fend off to Andy Brayshaw and it was a little high. So it'll come back the way of the Dockers. Brayshaw free kick. Handballs across to Ryan, running from behind. Kick inside the forward 50. Amos flies. Jimby in front. Was able to knock it down. Kelly at ground level for West Coast. Handball across to Schomburg. Kicks out the outer side and beautiful mark taken by the Dockers captain. Hasn't been called upon too much today, but that was a good moment. Kicks it back inside the forward 50. Jimby worked Tracy underneath the ball and takes the intercept mark. It's been a good battle today and he's having a good moment, Ruben Jimby.
Continues to battle away. Given all sorts of mighty tasks. Jimmy to the outer side. And Cox was there, went to ground. Duff Tytler affects the tackle on Wagner. And it's going to be a holding the ball call. Right on the logo, southern wing. Duff Tytler for the Eagles. Plays on by a hand to the co-captain in Duggan running by. And he'll kick inside forward 50 as the siren sounds for three-quarter time. What was a 10-point lead to the Dockers at the opening break became 22 at half-time. It's a 38-point lead at the final change. Fremantle 10-10-70, the Eagles 4-8-32. The goal kickers, Jai Amos has 4. Singles to Clark, to Jackson, to Boss, Erasmus and Tracy. While for West Coast, their 4 goals, Waterman, Baker, Lindsay and Yo. Fremantle by 38 points with a quarter to play out in Derby 62. And Eagles fans will be well aware that they're the only team in the competition that hasn't won a final term in 2026. The other games, earlier today, North Melbourne beat Richmond by 75 points. Melbourne beat Brisbane by 2 points. Quickly, let's head downstairs. Akash voted, Akash.
Yeah, Archer Reid has come back out of the rooms with the doctor and jogged back onto the field out towards the huddle, so he appears to be okay.
Quarter to come in Derby 62, wherever you're listening on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital and streaming on the ABC Listen app. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Anne Edmonds, Kitty Flanagan, Magda Zabansky, and so many more.
Good morning, everyone.
No one cares.
In comedy gems like Fisk, Kath and Kim, and Bad Company.
This is fun. No, thank you.
Comedy that leaves an impression. ABC iView.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Handball to Yo, now to Harley Reid, has some space on Bolton, kicks towards the top of the goal square, Waterman marks, plays on goals. It took all of 13 seconds. Chips it in the path of Amos, handball to Switkowski, he's got Voss running back to goal, just has to find him and does. Voss kicks, Voss goals, Voss celebrates. Jordan Clark, who kicks inside 50, kicked in favour Amos, but he's in beautifully to take the mark. Sinks the slipper into the ball, he likes it immediately. Didn't even look at the goal umpire, just threw the right fist in the air.
Chapman, short foot pass to Murphy Reid, kicks towards Amos, who marks again inside forward 50. This is going to be a tough angle. Jai Amos has got 4 goals on 9 occasions in his career. This looks perfect off the boot. Make that 10 occasions he's kicked 4 goals. Racing by McCarthy, got around Erasmus, took 1 bounce on the logo, commentary wing, then a second, kick inside forward 50. Baker marks, best move of the day from West Coast. You can hear from the reaction of those behind the goals. The Eagles have got their 4th and Baker has his first of Derby 62. Jackson gathers, elects to go by a hand to Switkowski. Switkowski towards full forward and Erasmus marks. Erasmus kicks around the body and kicks truly for Freo.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
There's a quarter to play of Derby 62 and Fremantle had the game in their control over the West Coast Eagles. What do our experts think? Both of them have played on this stage. I speak of Jared Schofield and Sharad Wellingham here on ABC Sport.
Yeah, I think that what we're seeing from West Coast is, I suppose, a mindset of continuing to take the game on host go. So I don't want to see them go into their shells. Freo, they're ticking every box, and you can't really fault anything that they're doing. They're not winning the stoppages and scoring from them, but it's all just off turnover. So West Coast, if they want to remain, competitive for the last quarter, just continue to take the game on, run and carry, use the numbers around the ball, and I'm going to say it, but just try not to turn it over. Maybe we spoke just then. Maybe just create a little bit more isolation when they're going inside their forward 50, and it might give them a bit of a better chance at bringing it to the front, or at least halving a contest. But yeah, Freo, they're just slick, aren't they? You can't really fault anything in their game style at the moment, and it's just ticking along very nicely.
No, they're a very well drilled and polished side, and that's why they are touted to be a top 4 side, if not higher. And yeah, they've made them pay off turnover, just through a bit of lack of polish by West Coast. But their most efficient play, they went up the line, open side, and had some connection inside their front half. But I think one of those things, hopefully West Coast don't go into their shells and try and sort of mitigate maybe what the damage is already and make it worse. Like to see the young team really go at the game, play the way that sort of I know under Mini after 12 months last year, knowing how he wants them to play. But yeah, it just got to take their opportunities. But if they can sort of get that speed off turnover and maybe add a bit of composure in the front half when they get going, to find those isolated forwards or find a one-on-one, it might just mitigate any sort of turnover that might be going back the other way. But talk about stoppages, 57 stoppages I think it was for the game. That's generally pretty low. And whether it's a strategy or not, it's just the way the modern game's moving now. Less throw-ins, more ball-ups, being a centre bounce, get it forward, lock it in, keep it there. But we've seen the other side of it with the transition from Fremantle.
Some of the numbers heading into the final term, team-wise, clearances. The Eagles lead that 21-20, and they've got 4 more contested possessions. The Dockers have had 48 more on the outside. Tackle count the way the Dockers by 4. The inside 50s, Fremantle edging ahead now 41-36. Hit-outs 34-16 the Dockers way as well. Individually, Jordan Clark up to 21 touches for the Dockers, got a goal as well. Murphy Reid with 19, Luke Ryan with 19, so too Heath Chapman. For the Eagles, Tom McCarthy has 20 disposals, Harley Reid 18, Tim Kelly 17, and Elliot Yeo with 15 after coming back into the side. Now, they're the numbers that stand out so far. The biggest one, though, the Dockers lead by 38 points with 1 quarter to play.
Any thoughts on the Glendenning Allen medalists so far, gentlemen?
Tough one. It's been a pretty even contribution from all Freo players.
Murphy Reid went a little bit quiet in the second quarter, but he got going in that quarter then. Clark's been pretty good too.
Throwing up in the middle. Ali J won it down for the Eagles. Came out towards Sarong though. Got tackled by Yo. Got a kick away though. Did well just to show strength. Went up and down on the spot. Allen was able to take the mark for the Eagles nonetheless. With the intercept grab, he then shares it out towards Cripps. Forward of the wing, beneath the broadcast box. Kicks into the left forward pocket. 3-on-3 battle, off hands. It'll come down to McVee. Picks it up for the Dockers. Wobbles a kick around the body towards right half back. No mark taken. Here's Murphy Reid again. Hand pass to himself and gathers again and goes burning across the logo. Still going Reid. Kicks inside forward 50. Amos marks. He started to head towards goal and then turned back and then saw the ball right into his hands in front of his eyes. And he can go back and have a shot, 45-degree angle out to the right. He'll kick from 45 out.
You can almost feel Sandy Brock there. He was on no man's land one-on-one with Murphy Reid streaming towards him and said, I got no idea what they're going to do here.
I'd hate to be a defender in those moments.
Jai Amos has never kicked 5 goals in a game. Could he do it in Derby 62? He's on the way in. We're right behind the kick. Marked down 5 for Jai Amos. 11 now to the Dockers and a new game high. They're out to a 44-point lead. Big Nev. 11-10, 76 to 4-8-32. 90 seconds gone into the final term. And I just remind everyone, Chris Waterman on Extra Time on Wednesday said Jai Amos was his tip for the Glendenning Allen medal.
I was just about to say, if he kicks another couple, it would be pretty hard to go past Nev for the medal.
Nev, never miss. He's been in good form after a couple of ones went awry early doors. He's now got 5, Jai Amos, his career best haul.
Dare I say it's a Jai 5?
Yep. Go for your life.
It's back in form, isn't he? Jai Amos. A little slow start to the season, but he is hitting the scoreboard now from the middle. Young overran it for the Dockers. Reed ripped it away from him. A little soccer forward. Yo out there. Sockers it off the deck, and it's into the arms of Judd McVie, who takes the mark just beyond left half back and retreats inside 50 to Jordan Clark, who goes laterally across his own defensive zone towards Brennan Cox, who had a look up the field and then in the end decides to go towards right half back and Luke Ryan.
I've been waiting years for the number 9 of Fremantle to kick 5.
Luke Ryan kicks up the broadcast side. Big fly from the back, McCarthy. Switkowski ground level handball to Murphy Reid to Sarong. Forward to Wagner, who looked inside 50 and then had numbers across the ground. He goes by foot to Brayshaw. Has plenty of time. Has an option deep. It's Amos. He can't mark. Brock got there. Did well on this occasion. Knocked it away from him. Tapped it towards Duggan, who steps over the line. The same amount of pressure as Luke Ryan. And as it rightfully should be called, it's a legal rush behind. Margin 45 points.
Duggan kicks towards left half back. Attacking the football was Warner for the Dockers. Spilled down and then a hand pass across the boundary line by Duff Tytler is going to be the lasso rule. So Jackson, who does wear the 9 for Fremantle, for those wondering. It's an inboard kick with a free kick to Ryan. He'll put it high and long towards full forward for Fremantle. Punch came from the side by Young. Out the back, here's Murphy Reid. Gathers, hand passes the Voss. In the goal square, he thumps it into the crowd for another one for the purple. Voss with 3. No great celebration, but there's a bit of a strut as he makes his way back after kicking the goal. 12-11-83 to 4-8-32. 3 and a bit gone in the last, and they're certainly outnumbered. It's an Eagles home game, but the Dockers fans do their best to start the Freo chant at Perth Stadium. New game high, 51 points to the purple.
Well, those split-second decisions that you make. So Young flying for the ball, leaves Voss at ground level, doesn't get the ball to the front. It's the old Cardinal sin. You let that ball to the back, especially in your D50. Good players will make you pay, as Murphy Reid and Voss did then. But both passages of play off contest. They kick long down the line. They won that ball, and then they kick quick inside 50 to a contest and able to win that one.
Ball up in the middle. Williams v Jackson. Going to ground off the ball was Caleb Sarong, and he'll earn a free kick for it. They'll pay advantage. Young takes it, takes a bounce, kicks inside forward 50. Jinby goes back and takes the mark as Amos lost his footing behind. They can swing the ball out by foot to Lindsay, right back pocket, who can go a little wider even to Harry Schoenberg. Looks to chip it inside, defensive 50 to Kelly. So Murphy Reid up to 24 touches, Jordan Clark 22. They both have 9 score involvements. Jai Amos has 5 goals, plus another 4 score involvements. So there's a few putting their hand up for the medal. I wouldn't want to be voting today. The Eagles, through Jinby, work it out towards left half back. Very patient build up here.
Bit of controversy too. Every voter today from the same media ownership stable.
Interesting, as Hoff kicks out towards the broadcast side off the hands of Luke Ryan in front of Duff Tytler. It's out of bounds.
The conglomerate, as we're now calling them.
The conglomerate. Well, I'd rather they vote than me today. It's pretty tough actually to split those top 3 or 4.
It's no fun. I've done it once, and I had the easiest vote of all time when Matt Rosa won it and had it won by 3/4 time. It's still no fun. Thrown in again. Jackson got it. Under pressure, got a hand pass out to Brayshaw. Had a quiet day by his standards. Went one way, then the other, and got a kick away towards right half forward for Fremantle. One down by Young of the Eagles. Gave it out to Baker. Hands it off to Duff Tytler. Hand pass again. Well met, coming the other way by Allen. Spilts it, had time to pick it up. Back to Dersma, the number 1 draft pick. Kicked up into the air. Waterman on the ground. And he takes the mark. The head heavily bandaged after getting the knee to the head earlier on. Kick short towards left half forward and finds Dersma. Has to backtrack for a little bit. Now he'll kick it towards full forward. Up and marking Chapman, floated across in front and brings down the footy. Good deal with Liam Baker, but he gets up to take his kick. Goes towards Clark, who's also been impressive today. This will be disposal 23 for him, and he's had 586 metres gain. Moves it short to Sarong, who is a 4-time Glendinning Allen medalist himself.
He's had an okay day, Caleb Strong. 21 coming up for him. He'll probably stay a 4-time medalist at the end of this one as he kicks up the wing. Young pushed Voss out of it. That was Tyler Young. And the free kick will go to the Eagles. Duff Tyler was held. Jackson would have had a hold of him. It's the free kick to West Coast. Patrick Voss seems a little bemused and caught a glimpse of himself on the big screen. I think he's scared himself, Patrick Voss. Duff Tyler kicks up towards left half forward. Williams in front. This is Bailey Williams. Can't take the mark. Alex Pearce tries to smother the ball. It comes out towards Chapman. Handball backwards to Ryan. Fremantle clear up towards Voss in front of Duff Tyler. Takes the mark. Defensive side of the broadcast wing. Northern side of Perth Stadium. He kicks up towards the logo where Jackson can mark uncontested.
Thought about playing on by hand to Johnson. That was ignored. Johnson's still calling for it. Instead, Jackson puts it out towards Murphy Reid. This will be disposal 25 for him. Leads all comers on the ground in terms of touches, and short pass back inboard to Clark, who sits second on that list with now 24. To Chapman, still on the logo Northern wing. Kicks into the middle of the ground. Young marks. The energy has gone out of the game. It's big lead to Fremantle. 51 points their advantage to Brennan Cox, who's marked. Sliding out Dudley. Marks on the attacking edge of the centre square to Fremantle. They're just able to work it around here, the Dockers. Now Dudley kicks towards full forward and waiting for it at the back. Bolton snaps the goal. Came off hand, spilled down to Bolton. He knew where it was landing, and he doesn't miss from his opportunity. Another one for the Dockers. His first of the day. A 13th for Fremantle. They're out to a 57-point lead. It's another lopsided derby. The Eagles, they slump around the ground. 13-11-89 to 4-8-32. We've gone 9 minutes into the last. This is ABC Sport Sunday Footy with our experts Jared Schofield and Sharad Wellingham.
Even on the patient ones, Freo are still finding a way to get through. You know, grafting their way through the middle. I don't understand how they can't get some numbers through the centre of the ground to make it hard for Fremantle to move the footy, and then at least clog up some space in their defensive 50. But Freo are just too sharp and too composed.
It was too easy for Fremantle to get inside the corridor and go to the open side then.
Ball tapped down to Matthew Johnson in the middle of the Dockers. Broke a couple of tackles, stepped through traffic, kicks inside 50. Tracy held on to Jinby, who had front position. The Eagle will win possession. He might have won the day as well as he kicks out looking for Harley Reid, who takes the mark over the top of Erasmus. Inboard to his housemate, Willem Dersma. Just beyond left half back. Right boots on. Kicks right below our commentary position, looking for a target in Williams. Punched by Ryan of the Dockers. Came down to Erasmus, spun in a tackle. Handball back to Clark. He was tackled, dropped the ball. Play on called. Murdoch gathers. Quick snap inside 50. Bouncing ball. Chapman tapped it back to Brennan Cox. Immediately tackled by Waterman 40 metres out from the Eagles' attacking goal. Margin is currently at 57 points. Halfway through this final term. Murdoch couldn't work his way through traffic from the restart. Kelly got the handball to Davis, to Murdoch. Falls to Kelly off the kick. Now Cripps. He's tackled by Mason Cox. He had to get down low. The umpire says that's okay. We'll ball it up. Still inside the Eagles' attacking 50.
Umpire puts it aloft. Mason Cox just brings it down himself. Threw it on the boot immediately, but the kick around the body found its way to McCarthy of the Eagles. Not a great kick, but bounced okay for Schoenberg. Former Crow into the right forward pocket. His kick through the hands of Shanahan. Waterman was lurking at the back, but Brennan Cox is able to take it across the boundary line for a throw-in, about 30 out from the Eagles' attacking goal. Heading towards the Farmer Freeway end in this the final turn. Left of our broadcast position. Throw it in. Mason Cox got the right arm free, won it to ground. Young, the kick was straight into the breadbasket of Baker. Ricocheted back to him. He got tackled, dispossessed. Sarong's able to manufacture a kick towards left half back. He wanted Tracy. Jindy got there first and then under pressure takes it across the boundary line. 54,232 in. which again is remarkable, this Eagles crowd that continues to turn up. Another crowd of 50,000 plus, despite the years that they've had with not much to celebrate, and a game that they were expecting to lose again today as it's just whacked forward by Mason Cox.
Straight into the path of Jimby. Went about 40 metres the punch from Mason Cox. He's had an okay day, a little quiet, hasn't seen much of the ball. The Eagles, terrible kick by Liam Duggan. That's the captain, who's kicked a floater into the middle of the ground, straight to Hayden Young, who takes the mark, goes laterally by foot to McVie, who went to Jordan Clark and was called out of it, I think, by Matthew Johnson. The ball never got to Johnson. It was intercepted by Kelly. So a bit of confusion from the Dockers as the Eagles can go by foot towards the broadcast swing where Shanahan goes to Cripps. Just start thinking maybe about taking Hayden Young off now and putting him on ice, Scully.
I personally would, with his history.
He's played about 65 to 66% of game time. It's a good run. Get him off.
Oh, he's done enough. He's shown the quality of player he is, but it's one of those things. In terms of match practice, it's not a high intensity game at the moment. It's pretty slow in terms of the transition.
Cripps and Yo share the ball by hand. Going to go inside 50 goes Cripps. It falls to Dersma. Clever kick towards the top of the square over the head of Duff Tyler, and Wagner hits it with pace. Kicks beyond defensive 50 for the Dockers at right half back. Chapman, handball to Wagner, tackled by Dersma, and then Baker comes and gets him on the second one. Dersma takes the advantage. Handball to Milan Murdoch, handball to Davis. They made a mess of it, the Eagles. Comes out to Cripps. 60 metres from home. High kick inside forward 50. Clark for the Dockers. Back with the flight. Takes the mark. It's a tired old fourth quarter at the moment. And the Dockers have the ball as Clark goes towards Matthew Johnson. Just inside 50 at right half back. The Dockers lead by 57 points, 14 minutes into the last. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
There's a lot of time still to play, but the Eagles at the moment, the lowest score they've recorded in a derby is 33 points, so they need to do something. As Schomburg inside forward 50, Duff Tyler couldn't gather, immediately tackled as he does pick it up. Wrapped up and taken to ground. Good effort again from Fredericks. Still inside the forward 50 for West Coast. Mason Cox punched it down, but straight towards Yo. Trying to work it out, here's Erasmus. Got it towards half-back. Frederick had it stolen away there by Yo. Was able to work it on to Murdoch. Kicks inside forward 50. Wanted Waterman. Couldn't take the mark. Eagles fans thought he was being held. Cox worked it back. Gave it to Ryan for the Dockers. So Brennan Cox to Ryan. Hand pass into the ground. Bounced its way towards Chapman. And then he worked it to McVie in the left back pocket. He'll switch play. There's two Dockers there. Clark had it. Played by hand to Ryan. Luke Ryan will come in the direction of Sarong, who marks on centre wing.
Well weighted kick to Sarong means he can turn and kick straight towards half forward. And Hayden Young stretching high. That would test the hammies a little bit. Marking under pressure. Has it. Kicking half out from home. Goes inside 50 to the lead of Neil Erasmus, dropping inside the space. And he marks 45 metres out. Will kick from slightly worse than a 45-degree angle to the right, about 50 metres out.
I think we've been saying all game around the polish and the fundamentals. We've just seen a perfect example of West Coast, couple of entries versus Fremantle's precision to go forward.
Didn't miss a kick in that chain. They went bang, 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 bang.
Strong mark by Hayden.
Very strong mark in his return. Neil Erasmus already has a goal today. Steps inside the paint of 50, hangs it right. That's where it'll stay. We're up an Eagles fan. Now playing for the Dockers. Minor score. 13-12-90 Fremantle, 4-8-32 the Eagles, 58-point margin.
So that lowest score ever by West Coast in a derby. 33 points, 4-9-33. That was round 21, 2023. That long ago, ended up being a 101-point win to the Dockers that day. Can't imagine it'd be that big today. As Ryan had it at left half back, hand pass was meant for Clark, comes to Baker of the Eagles, ran into trouble, got pinged, that'll be holding the ball, tackled by Warner. He'll have the free kick, moves it out to Wagner, marks and then runs across the logo southern wing, puts the Dockers into the left forward pocket. Frederick marks, he plays on, pops it up into the air, he wants Amos and finds him. And Jai Amos marks deep in the left forward pocket, about 30 from goal. already with a career-high 5 goals. Jai Amos looking to continue his recent impressive run of form. Yellow Sharon in hand. Jai Amos has missed. Putting it to the left-hand side, a minus score. 13-13-91 the Dockers, 4-8-32 the Eagles. Nearly 18 gone in this, the final term. Freo's lead is 59 points here on ABC Sport. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital and streaming on ABC Listen. Clint Wilden alongside this man, Mitch Turner in commentary.
What are you thinking, Sharad Wellingham?
Nine shots on goal.
That might have been the medal, maybe?
Maybe.
6 goals is a pretty good argument as the Eagles bring it outside. Defensive 50, Dersma at ground level, handball turned over to Bolton. Good tackle though by Milan Murdoch. And it was a high tackle going against Bolton. So Murdoch laid the tackle and was taken high. So in the end, Eagles free kick, handball to Lindsay, kick up. The line is marked by Brennan Cox. Dockers want to take off and have to come back. 6 would have been a good argument. Hard to go past on a kick 6 to get the 3 votes.
Well, he could still kick 6. Have 10 shots on goal. It's pretty.
It's not a bad day out, 9 shots on goal.
He's had a very good day. Dockers go up the wing. Mason Cox in front. Can't mark. Coming through Switkowski. Got a hand on it. Fell to Josh Lindsay for the Eagles. Snapped it up the wing. Baker takes the mark in front. He's looking around and now he has to go laterally into the middle of the ground to Milan Murdoch. Back into the side after missing a couple of weeks. He'll go short to Dersma.
It's a good day not to be voting in the medal. As Dersma right up the corridor and a juggled mark by Baker. Did well, fell backwards to complete the mark. And have a shot from 45 out. He'll start just to the left of the left hand behind post.
That's the first time they've taken a mark inside 50 in a good position.
Yeah, and they still took their time. Like, Fremantle would have gone to a one-on-one isolation, which you've touched on already today. Now, they had that fall to the ball, but they just didn't want to pull the trigger, but they obviously connected with Baker there.
Just the 6th mark inside 50 for the game. Liam Baker, he's on his way in. The co-captain kicks the Eagles 5th and his 2nd. No longer do West Coast fans have to worry about the lowest score in a derby. They've surpassed that with that major. West Coast 5-8-38, Fremantle 13-13-91. Fremantle's lead is 53 points. We're into time on. We're in the death throes of Derby 62. Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. Our experts Sharad Willingham and Jared Schofield.
It was nice, composed. Baker went backwards initially off the mark. And so they obviously didn't want to dump it inside their forward 50, which we've been crying out for them to stop doing all day. But he was the one who had to sprint forward and provide an option. But it was nice lowering of the eyes. There it is.
Hey! Someone will text him.
Looked closer.
It lowered his
vision
line. From the restart, Elliot Yeo gets the ball off the ruck contest. Steps around one, kicks inside 50, leading out to take it, and unable to was Hewitt. Ball off hands, out of bounds. So 9 marks inside 50 today for Jai Amos, which is the highest for a player this season.
And 3 more than West Coast have had for the game.
Aaron Norton had 7 against the Giants in the 2nd game this season for him. So Giants got 9 to go with his 5 goals. The ball will be tossed in. Just inside half forward for the Eagles. Jackson over the top, tapped it down to Bolton. Able to get away from the tackle. Through hands the Dockers. Get it to Wagner. Snap up the wing in the middle of the pack. Switkowski gave a contest. It spills to Murphy Reid. Hoff's there and got him covered for company. Ball goes out of bounds off hands. I'll toss it in right in front of the players' race. 53-point margin. 54,000 in the house. Jackson gets in front of the Haley Williams. The shallow throw in. It bounces around, spills to Brayshaw. By hand, he goes to Luke Jackson. Inadvertent spiral up towards right half forward and over the head of Amos and Brock. Brock leads back for the Eagles. Gave himself a bit of space. Kicks back up the wing. Bailey Williams flies high and Takes a nice mark over Luke Jackson and steps off his line. He's called to play on. Kicks up towards the left half forward. Shanahan edged under it by Ryan. Umpire said illegally. Free kick to the Eagle.
That brings an enormous roar. This guy's looking to get back-to-back goals for just the second time in the game as Shanahan moves it out in the direction of left half forward. It's marked there by Davis. He's about 51 from goal. He'll kick towards left full forward. He wants Waterman at the back. Chapman got it down. Came out to Brayshaw. Back to Chapman for the Dockers. Kick towards right half back, but an intercept mark taken here by Hoff of the Eagles. He'll send it into the middle of the ground. Duggan waits and marks. Switches play towards right half forward. McCarthy marking. Sends it in the direction of Allen. And he marks about 52 from goal and about 5 in from the boundary at right half forward. Works it onto his left. Kicks towards full forward. Yo got hands to it. Hit him on the chest. Spills down. Here's Murdoch wheeling around, snapping but missing left. A minor score. West Coast move on to be 5-9-39 to Fremantle 13-13-91. 23 and a bit gone in the last. Closing stages of Derby 62. It's just about the margin. Fremantle have had this wrapped up for some time as Ryan moves it into the right back pocket, marked there by McVie. McVie on a short run. Hands it off to Brayshaw. Brayshaw works his way onto his right boot. That's a nice pass. Finds Bolton. Brayshaw, by his standards, a quiet day, just 14 disposals. Now Fremantle move it towards true centre wing, marking in front of the Eagles interchange gates is Murphy Reid. He has a good day out. Towards right half forward. Johnson got a hand to it, couldn't mark. Switkowski against Kelly. Both had a touch. Came down to Murdoch, tried to knock it away. Eventually Bolton got in the way. Here's Dudley off to Sarong, and Sarong, the four-time Ross Glendinning medalist, kicks his first of the afternoon. Another one for the Dockers. 14-13-97, their lead back to 58 points. 5-9-39 the Eagles, 24 gone in the last. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Jared Schofield and Sharad Willingham, our experts.
Well, I think Lindsay will learn from that little fundamental cough up or one-handed effort. Then obviously Fremantle just swarmed on that sort of loose ball, but he'll learn from that. He's only in his infant stages of his career, but it's just been the polish all day for mine across all lines for Fremantle. They take their moments and maximise their opportunities when they've needed to, and that's why they're touted as a top four side.
So he hate to be voting on the medal. Someone else might be voting in the game this year. Might be sneaking around, voting on a certain medal somewhere. So let's let it rub it in how hard it is to vote in these close games. Brayshaw gets the clearing kick for the Dockers towards half forward. Ricochets off a couple of bodies out towards right half forward where Duggan picks it up for West Coast. And Switkowski lays the tackle. Will be tossed up in the air. Jackson just takes it. No one stood the mark or took the ruck contest. He kind of panicked in the end, took it, missed his boot. Then Brayshaw's tackled. It's a bit scrappy at the moment. Kelly for the Eagles. Handball to Yo. Up the wing, Warner v Waterman. Waterman got there first, slapped it forward to Duff Tytler. Handball over the top to Baker, inside 50. Runs away from Frederick, dribbles it towards goal and misses. He wanted a free kick, thought he was taken high, but he just couldn't get it there. Looking for his third, Liam Baker. Would have been something nice, but it's a minus score. Margins 57 points, 5-10-40. The Eagles now. The Dockers 14-13-97.
Freo looking to give their percentage a solid boost. We've spoken about it a bit. Up to 143.5 at the moment from 131.4. More to the outer side of the ground on the southern wing. Young got a kick away towards left half forward. There's no one there. It'll tumble across the boundary line. That'll be the lasso rule. Free kick to West Coast. Nice disposal out of bounds going against the Dockers. The Eagles immediately bring it back into play. McCarthy to Duggan, back to McCarthy. Now to Duggan by hand, now to McCarthy by hand. Sharing it around. They work it out to Young. Shy of centre wing, southern side. Off a couple of steps, he'll kick into the right forward pocket. He wanted Waterman. Read it well.
Ryan got moved out of the marking contest and Waterman marks 49 from goal, a metre in from the boundary in the right forward pocket. Jake, who had to have some repairs done after getting a knee to the head from Luke Ryan. Accidental, but caused a cut above the right eye. So he's got slightly better than a headband of Bjorn Borg proportions. Here comes Waterman, got right underneath the kick. It's going across the face. Oh, huge mark. Has it been paid or have they called it across the line? Across the line. Frustration pass. Shanahan thought he might have been able to get hold of that one. Not to be. Minor score. Clark with the kick into Brennan Cox. The Dockers win Derby 62. Freo's 4th consecutive victory in WA's biggest game. The Dockers by 56 points over the Eagles. It's a 5th straight win for Fremantle. With their victory over West Coast, they go to 5-1. After dropping their first game of the season to Geelong, they've been unbeaten since. They're back to second on the ladder with a very handy percentage booster as well, from 131.4 up to 142.7. Fremantle, their goal kickers, Jai Amos, got 5 for the day. Patrick Voss with 3. Singles to Sarong, Clark, Jackson, Bolton, Erasmus and Tracy. While for West Coast, 2 to their co-captain in Liam Baker and singles to Waterman, to Lindsay and to Yo. Who will win the Glendenning Allen Medal? We'll find out downstairs very shortly. Before we head downstairs, though, let's get the initial thoughts of our experts after the win to Fremantle. Sharad Willingham and Jared Schofield. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Initial thoughts are job well done to Fremantle. Very, very clean outfit at the moment and playing some really reliable football. Very just sound across every line, aren't they? Back, forward, mid. We're just kind of talking then about who's the 3-2-1 going to go to for today's game, and it's tough, which is a really good sign. They've got really good contributors across everywhere.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of a good side.
Yeah,
you know, if you're finding it hard to pick any standouts, and as you said, they were very even across all 3 lines. I just felt like, in moments within the game when there was control versus playing with a bit of speed, they were able to sort of handle those moments a lot better than West Coast. They're obviously a lot mature team, but West Coast still had their moments. You know, they've still had 51 inside 50s, but just couldn't capitalise on the scoreboard, and that's where the polish of Fremantle, their key forwards, the class of the young fella and Murphy Reid, and their backs were just strong.
Backs so strong.
So strong behind the ball. They know how to control the ball and the game defensively and offensively when they have it. But they're a very well-drilled side, Fremantle, and sort of seems they've taken that sort of next step of maturity to get to where they want to get to, and that's what happens when you play a number of years together and playing with the same sort of team and same system. You know, you build that trust within that.
Mentioned before, Mitch, about most marks inside 50 by Jai Amos today. 9 marks inside 50, which was 2 more than West Coast had, but it's the most ever by a Fremantle Docker in their history. Previous 5 occasions were 8, all by a bloke by the name of Matthew Pavlich. So a tremendous performance by Jai Amos today. the 5 goals as well, 9 scoring shots. So the 22-year-old has certainly bounced back in a big way after a tough season last year and then a tough start to the season as well. He's been in good form since that point onwards. We'll head downstairs to our on-ground MC, Carl Langdon, in just a moment, as we'll find out who does win the Glendenning Allen Medal. Akash Vodadars headed down to the Fremantle rooms. We'll also have Mitch Turner heading down to the West Coast room, so hopefully getting reaction from both sides. It was a cheeky shot in the Eagles banner about they're having fun after Justin Longmuir said in the pre-season that there's no fun in his life. Well, he's walked out with a big smile on his face, the Fremantle coach. I reckon he's got some fun in his life right now, and certainly the Fremantle supporters who've stuck around have got a bit of fun in their lives for the next couple of weeks as well. Let's head out into the middle and find out firstly the presentations and who picks up the Glendenning Allen Medal.
West Coast Eagles, keep on trying, boys, because we are seeing a lot of improvement. So good luck for the rest of the season. We are going to award the Glendenning Allen Medal first, and our votes were cast today by Sean McManus, who works for Channel 7, by Xavier Ellis, who works for Triple M, and by Mitch Woodcock, who writes for the West Australian newspaper. I'll read out the votes, and then Ross will be awarding the medal today. Sean McManus, 1 vote, Jai Amos. 2 votes, Murphy Reid. 3 votes, Jordan Clark. Xavier Ellis, 1 vote, Murphy Reid. 2 votes, Geordie Clark. 3 votes, Jai Amos. And Mitch Woodcock from the West, 1 vote, Murphy Reid. 2 votes, Jai Amos. 3 votes, Jordan Clark, and your Glendenning Allen medalist, Geordie Clark. 8 votes to Geordie Clark, 6 to Jai Amos, and 4 to Murphy Reid. Well done, boys.
Clark with 27 disposals today, 3 contested possessions as well, 5 inside 50s.
Yeah, first of all, just want to thank West Coast. It's a quality match every time we play. We love rocking up and having the derbies here and that sort of thing. And to our boys, great hard-fought night. I think anyone could have been on the receiving end of this. So with all due respect, it's a privilege. But, well done to our boys, and thank you.
Well done, Clarkie. Good job. If I could invite the skipper and the coach to come forward to receive the trophy from Ross Glendenning, the Derby Trophy. Derby Trophy number 62. Come on, JL. Don't be so... Come on, mate. Yeah, I know the big boys here. Out you come. Let's hear it for Fremantle, everybody. Well done.
Thanks a lot for the West Coast boys. Always a hard-fought game, and we wish you all the best for the rest of the year. Our fellas, well done for sticking with it, and we've had a good start to the year, and we're playing a decent brand of footy, so we keep going again. To all the fans that came out today, make this game what it is and this week what it is, we really appreciate it, and we'll see you here for the next one later on in the year. Thank you.
Fremantle captain Alex Pearce.
Thanks for your support to all of the fans out there. Please drive
That's where
safe.
we'll leave the presentations downstairs. So Jordan Clark with 8 votes, twice as the best player from the votes from the West Australian and from Channel 7. And he picked up 2 votes from our station next door to us, to Xavier Ellis. So Fremantle by 56 points, 14-13-97 to West Coast 5-11-41. Fremantle doing what they needed to do today, which was have a win, and also a fairly solid one in regards to the margin to help their percentage along. So the ladder looks like this as the Fremantle Dockers will pose for the traditional Derby photos. Sydney on top at the moment because of their big win over West Coast, a percentage of 173.3. They've got 20 points. They've also 5-1 for the season. The Dockers in second spot and Hawthorn in third. They're separated by percentage, all with 20 points. Gold Coast fourth, North Melbourne fifth, Geelong sixth, the Bulldogs seventh, Melbourne eighth, all with 16 points and all separated by percentage. Brisbane are in ninth
with 12 points, Adelaide in 10th with 12 points, and Collingwood sitting just outside of the 10, again due to percentage, with 12 points as well. West Coast in 15th spot, as they were at the start of proceedings, to the lowest ranked of the teams in 8th, with a percentage now of 61.3, so they've lost 3 percentage points there. The Derby has once again, 9 out of 10 times now, it's belonged to the Fremantle Dockers. They win by 56 points. Jai Amos, unlucky not to win? Or you comfortable
no,
with the
I
decision?
think I'm pretty comfortable with that decision. I think that he was the best forward on the ground by a stretch. Just 5'4". If it had been
6'4", 6'3", sorry, 6'3".
Yeah,
6'3", 7'2".
What do forwards and defenders ever need to do to win a medal?
Yeah, it's a shame.
Tough one.
It is a shame. Like,
What do you mean? Clark's a defender.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. A running defender.
Yeah.
Not a key position defender. I'll rephrase that.
Yeah, 9 scoring shots is a fair effort, but
Yeah.
it's actually scary to think that focus went on the Tracy with Jimby. Vossi's probably just going, and then you get Jai, who's been the sort of third banana, I call it, so to speak, that has been copping sometimes a bit of flack for not taking his marks, kicking his goals, and today he was able to put that together, and he still can't get the medal.
I'm very happy with Jordan Clark getting it.
Yeah.
I think it's a good discussion point. But if he got it, or Reid had got it, or Amos had got it, I thought they were all. And I think the votes today showed who were the 3 standout players. All the people involved in the voting process had them maybe in different orders, but they were the standout players. They were the people that we were discussing as well going into this one. So, yeah, having a look at some of those numbers, Jordan Clark, 27 disposals, 21 uncontested, 3 contested, 2 clearances, 2 ground ball gets, a tackle, 11 marks and 5 inside 50s. Murphy Reid with 26 disposals, 6 of them those contested, 5 ground ball gets. As I'll make my way across to the other computer to have a look at the stats as they continue on. What else do we have here? 5 ground ball gets, 5 marks, 5 inside 50s. And then Jai Amos with the 5 goals, as we mentioned before. 13 disposals, but 10 marks, 9 inside 50, which we highlighted a short time ago. 5 goals for Jai Amos. The best of the Eagles, McCarthy with 28 disposals, 3 inside 50s, 3 tackles, 7 contested possessions. Kelly had 24 of them, Duggan with 21. It was never a game that reached any great heights. Is it fair to say a workmanlike performance from Fremantle, the way that they went about the business today?
Yeah, I don't think it. I don't think it was ugly from their side of things. They were clean. They were slick. It was the ugliness. That
It was an ugly game
contributed.
of footy, though. It was not a great game of footy.
Yeah.
But if you're a Fremantle supporter, you're wearing the purple today, who cares?
Yeah.
I think they just did what they needed to do. They were able to execute in the moments they needed to. Whether
It wasn't like it was a tough contested game, though, was it?
Well, there was less stoppages between the arcs as well. There was a bit of centre bounce field position. I think they were plus on the uncontested marks. I think they were sort of on the marks. They were plus 30. They were able to control the ball.
Both sides had less than 50 tackles. Less than 60 tackles.
Yeah,
so it wasn't really a tough game.
No, it was a bit more open, ball control, and it really was a battle of sort of field position, and then they're polished, as we've said many a times today, that really just took over in there. But it sort of felt like, when the stakes were on, when the challenge was on, Fremantle were able to just rise another level and just be a lot cleaner and efficient with what they needed to get done, whether that was offensively or defensively in the game. And that's why they are one of the best sides in the competition to date.
Do you think Mini deliberately tried to steer it away from a contested stoppage game? Because that's still one of Fremantle's strengths.
Get you to pause on that thought for just a second, because Alex Pearce, alongside Mason Cox, the debutant today, who's about to get the sports drink shower from the Dockers, have made their way down into the Dockers' rooms. We better head down there as well. Akash voted up.
Yeah, thank you, Clint. As you mentioned, the team have just come down into the rooms, led by skipper Alex Pearce, Mason Cox alongside him. They've handed the Derby trophy off to a staff member. They're all just filtering their way in now. I think a few people were thrown off by the direction in which Fremantle have come into the rooms, but it not being their home game, they don't come through the locker room unless they want to probably cop a lot of abuse from West Coast fans. So they're coming down the race and just getting ready in the circle now. Yeah, Mason Cox just gets some sports drink thrown on him as they get ready to start the song. Not often you see the person in the middle of the song towering over everyone else. A couple of chants of USA, USA as well. Here they go.
Rollers, we're the Rockers. We're mighty Freo Dockers. We're rolling and we're rocking. We're gonna send them to the bottom. Picking it up, do it again. Rockers stop at nothing, nothing. Freo, way to go. Tear your hearts and down below. Freo, go, we are the Freo Dockers. Freo, way to go. Tear your hearts and down below. Freo, go, we are the Freo Dockers.
Very businesslike from Freo, just like their performance, and we should hopefully have a player to join us soon.
Clint, was that little cheery thing at the start new this year?
They've gone back to where the Rollers, where the Rockers. They've added that in. Which
This
this year. The women's team has done it for a while.
Okay.
And the early days of the Dockers, I'm looking at you, Scully, sorry. The early they used to do it back in the early days.
I didn't get to sing the song too many times in my wonderful 12 games for Fremantle. I only got to sing it twice. Maybe because I was a bit nervous about singing the song.
It's not.
I don't mind it.
It's not the most wonderful of songs, but it does actually stretch it out a little bit.
Yeah,
more.
Otherwise it's way too short.
Yeah, it's the original version of the song, so they've gone back to the little chant at the start. Where the Rollers, where the Rockers, and they are rolling and rocking. Or rocking and rolling. Take your pick in the order you want to have them at the moment. Fremantle, 5 straight wins now. They're in second spot again on the ladder as they continue to build. And they've got a lot to be impressed about once again. By the way, Jordan Clark, a few more of those stats, which we didn't mention. 90% kicking efficiency today, 622 metres gained. So that is very, very impressive. How did you assess first game back for Hayden Young?
Very serviceable. I don't think that we saw Hayden Young of old, but he's still, he had 7 contested possessions. He's had 4 clearances and 8 inside. Yeah, the inside 50s is the big one, isn't it?
Mm.
When he gets the ball on the arc, it can be really damaging.
So
I wonder how many of those ended up in marks inside 50. Probably 7 of them.
Probably. I think the luxury of, there's an inside mid that just nestles into the game, goes a bit forward, plays in the midfield, did what he had to do, gets through the game unscathed. It's actually dangerous for the opposition to know that he's done it really just doing what he needed to do, and he's had those sort of numbers. And like I said, he's still had over 450 metres gain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's efficient football.
It's a perfect return in a winning team. You get some miles back into your legs, build your confidence again.
Well, hearing JL talk going into the game about him, it was like he probably could have played last week, and they gave him another week. And with his histories of injuries and hamstrings, it's like, they probably took their time. They didn't need to force him or rush him in. The team was going well. As you said, they've won their last 5. So he probably has been training at a high level for a couple of weeks now to make sure he could sort of slot into that team and do what he needed to do.
I need to ask the question because it was such a build-up. He finally made his debut. And I know you've spoken about it for a while, so I'll throw this to you, Sharad Willingham. You know where this is going. Mason Cox, the debut in the purple. How do you assess that?
He didn't set the world on fire, but, he's coming into a nice established midfield like that. He gave them a fair few looks. He's had 13 hit-outs, so as a secondary ruck. Hit-outs to advantage, 5. I don't think that he missed that set shot at goal. If he had to kick that, he'd probably give. It's just kind of like he was a contributor today, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. It'd be interesting to see what his game time was. As I said, I didn't really notice him as much.
He spiked at 40 metres most of that one.
But maybe because it was the least amount of stoppages. You talk about between the arcs, we probably didn't see his presence in the actual stoppage game.
Yeah, he's not going to be linking up through the middle.
No.
And the way they were transitioning.
And Fremantle weren't really forced to go long down the line at all. So all of a sudden it takes away his aerial presence as well. But
he played 59% game time, so he was out there for a bit. But as you said, they weren't required to go long down the line. They were either moving it really fast from a turnover or a stoppage in their defensive half, or they were going around them.
From a selfish point of view, Coach Nsuvi, I hope he keeps his spot.
You got Peel next week.
Nsuvi got Peel next week.
He's been having 50 hit outs at waffle level.
No, I thought he played a great game today.
The challenge will be, what do they do with the big fella in Sean Darcy if he comes out of concussion protocols? You might have to worry about him.
He should have another week. They've got a big season ahead of
Yeah,
him.
make sure that he's okay for the rest of the year. Fremantle winning by 56 points. If you want to get in touch with us, 0437 774 774. Murphy Reid will join us very shortly from the Fremantle rooms. Mitch Turner has also wandered down to the Eagles rooms. We'll try and get someone from the West Coast Eagles side as well. And we will talk about West Coast too. If you're an Eagles fan and you're making your way home, we'll discuss some of the Eagles issues shortly here on Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. Clint Wilden with you alongside Jared Schofield and Sharad Wellingham. A career-high 5 goals for Jai Amos today and Patrick Voss with 3. It was nice to see a bit of strut back for Patrick Voss today. He
just was out, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I think sometimes it's better for the way that he plays. He'd sort of been a little bit down on confidence after the whole Harrison Petty incident, which didn't look good, but you can celebrate your goals without doing that sort of stuff. And yeah, got an early one, put the chest out, high-fived all his teammates, cheered with the supporters in purple. I thought it was good to see Voss back like that.
I think we said it the other day, either on Extra Time or Sports Talk or something, that I really like it. Like it engages the fans. It engages, everyone watching on telly, and it's something that I hope they don't take away from him.
How would you handle it as a coach, Scott?
I think you've got to express your personalities,
and that's it for him.
Yeah,
isn't it?
And if it gets him going, and obviously he's the energy for the team. I think there's an element of sort of, I suppose, tapering how far you go with it. But I think if it's his personality and he brings the energy and he draws the emotion of his teammates, I'm all about expressing yourselves. I remember coaching against Michael Fredericks doing backflips and everyone too. I've had the pleasure of coaching Xavier Dersme when he pulled out the bow and arrow under Kenny, and I remember looking in the box. And I looked at Brent Montgomery at the time, and Ken Hinkley was like, let him express himself. And I learned then, they're different personalities, these young men these days, and I just think, let him go for it. But I suppose the Petty one was probably a little bit across the line, so it's where you harness that to make sure you don't step across that.
On the text line, by the way, Fran, who I know is a big supporter of yours, shouts out to you. Says really in awe of the Eagles supporters. They shout louder than other supporters out there after those results, and they stick, and they do. 54,232 in today. And they've had so little to cheer about so long, and they did stick around for a sizable chunk of this game. They turn up in big numbers. I remain in awe of West Coast supporters from what they've gone through in recent years. They just keep turning up time and time again.
They just love the club. They love coming to the footy, and It has been really tough, now, for 4 or 5 years. And so, or is it 5 or 6 years? This will be the 6th year.
It's been at least 4, because
So, I mean, one thing that I will say is, and I've said it a number of times to you, Clint, that I think that they need to increase their game day engagement from this the club. Like, the members are sticking really tough, and they're coming to games where they're getting belted. I wish the club would have better activations around the ground and more entertainment pre-game. I know some people don't really like it, but you come to a Freo game, there's an energy in the stadium, isn't there? And the members and supporters that are here at Freo games, I feel, are really excited, where at the moment West Coast aren't getting the wins. So they've got to try and engage the crowd. Keep them entertained.
Certainly the Fremantle supporters who turned up today, they would have been entertained. They were having fun, no matter what the banner had to say. Let's head downstairs. Akash Photodars in the Dockers rooms. Akash.
I am indeed with a man who's maybe unlucky not to win the Glendenning Allen Medal, Murphy Reid. Murphy, another Derby win and another win to start the season well for Freo. How'd that feel out there?
Yeah, it was great. We probably didn't have the first half that we wanted to, but we were probably a little bit lucky to be up, and they didn't really take some of their chances that you would think they would kick. So, we went on to work on a few clips at half time, and we were really happy with the way we finished the game.
So what was the messaging at half time to get the game more in the style you wanted to play?
Probably just starting with the contest, really, getting back to our strengths and building from that. And once we got that right, and once we broke from stoppage and stuff like that, we had a lot of really good looks, and we finished off well.
On a personal note, you had a terrific game, and you've played in a couple of derbies now, and been on the winning side. What's it like to play well in a big game, and I guess the rare occasion too of being in a hostile crowd at your home ground?
I had a great start. I mean, I'm playing in a forward line that's going pretty well at the moment. I've got a lot of good blokes to kick to that make me look good, and working with few rotations with the midfield, and great to have Youngie back today. Adds a different layer to our midfield and forward line, and I thought we got some really good looks today, and the ball's fallen my way a little bit today, and it was great to get the win.
How are you finding that role of moving and spending a bit more time in the midfield this season?
Yeah, it's great. I love being around the ball, and I think it adds a new little layer for us, and keeps the other team on their toes, really, and provides a couple of switches that they don't really know about sometimes. And we do some really quick ones every now and then, and sometimes I'm only in there for like 30 seconds to a minute, and really quick ones, and I think it adds a great layer to us, and we got a few good looks from it today.
Great, let's head upstairs. We've got Clint Wheeldon with our experts, Jared Schofield and Sharad Wellingham.
Yeah, Murphy, Jared Schofield here, mate. Went on a fantastic game and great result again. You just touched on it there, and it seems like your mid sort of forward connection, the ability to be able to either flip at stoppage or flip in transition, troubled West Coast at times. You mentioned that just before. Is that something you guys really go after against a team that might be sort of role-driven or specific matchup-driven?
Thanks, mate. We had a real focus on seeing their runners out. They had a few high forwards that are high half backs. Can't speak. High half backs that were really dangerous and really like to get on the move and get a short 45 kick and then get a handball receive. And we made it a real focus to get up and see them out and then work our asses on the way back and really catch them out. And our key forwards did a really good job on that note when we got a turnover, break back and then made it easy for us to just lead up at the foot, and we just had to do the simple thing. But we made that a focus during the week, and I thought mostly after half time we made that look really good.
Nev, congratulations on Sharad here, mate. Congratulations on a great game. I love watching you play, mate, and good luck for the rest of the year. You spoke then about, was it the game plan to really steer away from stoppages, and because you guys are so strong at stoppages and getting clearances, but it felt like you relied really heavily on just concertinating on the ground, and then, like you mentioned quickly there, that you're trying to get out the back plays?
I appreciate that, mate. I think that's just how the game sort of went. I mean, I think our clearance game, I don't know if it was at the level today, but I feel like that's one of our strengths. We've got some amazing clearance hard ball winners in there, like Andy, like Caleb, like Matthew Johnson, and as I said, Youngie was in there today. But as I said, we made it a focus to do the defence first, and then they sometimes tended to hang around and sort of ball watch a little bit, and we made it which is one of our strengths, to really work hard back the other way, make sure we did the defence first, and then get on the bike and get looks the other way. And I think we did that at times during the first half, and then in the second half it sort of broke open a bit more, especially in that third quarter, and we got some really good looks from it.
On a personal note, you've obviously evolved your game to go up the ground and play midfield. Who have you tried to mimic, or not mimic, who have you tried to base your game on now that you've gone up and playing more midfield right? Because I'm not going to put the Mozza on you here, but I said you move a little bit like Gary Ablett Jr.
I don't know about that.
No pressure.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. He's obviously a star. One of the best ever. So that's, very nice words from you, mate. I don't know about that, but I'm
just the way you move.
I'm lucky enough to work very closely with Caleb and Andy at the club, and little tricks from Shay, and we spend a lot of mid-forward time together, me and Shay, so they've all got their own unique strengths, and I can sort of pick the bone at all three of them, and I'm very lucky that had a pretty good pre-season this year, and got to work with all three of them, and they've all got strengths that they've given me, and I'm trying to implement them into my own game with my strengths that I've got as well, and just continue working on my game, mate, and playing my role in the team, and hopefully we keep playing good footy.
Murphy Reid, the reigning rising star, with us here on ABC Sport. Got two before we let you go, Murphy, and I do appreciate your time. What do you think internally has made Fremantle win these close games earlier in the year and then be able to actually, I guess, professionally put sides away like we saw today? What have been the steps forwards that you've noticed in the Fremantle Dockers this season compared to last?
Last year I think before I got to the club last year, sort of Freo were known to sort of lose a fair few close games, but I feel like last year we did a lot of work on it in the back end of the season, and we won a lot of close games and got the job done. And we've continued to work on that during the off-season, and up until this day we do a lot of work with the mental side of the game and making sure we don't get carried away when we're on top and valuing the right things. We're big on that and playing our role. And I mean, there's constant messaging throughout the game when we do get on top to not go into, wanting a lick of the ice cream and going out of role. And we're pretty driven on that. And we get a lot of messaging on that. And I think we're doing that really well at the moment. And we're, getting a nice percentage boost today.
Certainly looks like it with that percentage boost. And as you said, five straight now for Fremantle in the competition. I know you've only experienced it once, but one of the things that the footy club does really well is the Len Hall game. That's your next game. How special is it around the football club, that game, to commemorate Anzac Day?
Yeah, it's unreal. I was very lucky to be a part of it early in my career last year, and just the build-up, to play in that game, play on Anzac Day and play for that family. It's amazing to be a part of it and an honour that we get to play in that game. And I remember it was probably my first game with a fully-on packed crowd, and the Freo fans really got around it and really paid their respects to the Hall family and the Anzacs as well. And it's just unreal to play in it, and can't wait for next week.
Can't wait to see you out there. Thanks, Murphy.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Murphy Reid downstairs finished second in the Glendenning Allen Medal, picked up 6 votes, only just pipped by Jordan Clark. He would have been a worthy winner if he had picked up the medal, though. 26 disposals for him today, as I mentioned, 5 inside 50, 6 contested possessions as well. He had a terrific day. Jordan Clark winning the medal with 27 disposals, and Jai Amos finishing third. All 3 people voting, Xavier Ellis, Sean McManus and Mitch Woodcock, all having those 3 players in their list, be it 1, 2 or 3, but Clark picking up the best on ground with the 8 votes. We'll hear from the Eagles rooms in just a moment. Getting back to your thoughts before we were interrupted, and then we need to have a chat about West Coast as well. But wrap it up for us from Fremantle's perspective, Jared and Scully.
I also just, I reckon it was really efficient. Like the way they played today, no one's had a huge, numbers-wise disposal number. Yes, down the bottom, there's been a few people who didn't get much footy, but it goes to show how efficient they were with their ball movement and their ability to score quickly without over-possessing the ball.
Yeah.
And that's off the back of no pressure.
Well, yeah, that's right. And like West Coast have been pretty good this year with their pressure and their contests, but it seemed like a more open-flowing type game.
Yeah.
As you said, their efficiency was strong. They were just a lot more polished. This game, wasn't the Brayshaw and the Sarongs dominating. You go, geez, they were the standouts. It was an even spread of players across the board. And as you look at the numbers, that's what you want from a good side. But at the end of the day, they just took their opportunities, and as Murphy said, they got going. They had a look at a couple of things at half time, and the game sort of opened up for them as well.
Like even 124 contested possessions to West Coast and 119, that's pretty low as well. Like it wasn't it was just a nice
game of footy,
efficient game by Fremantle.
Yeah. Workmanlike. They did exactly what they needed to do.
Yeah, but I see workmanlike a more that tough contested game, going and getting into trenches and long down the lines, and you're getting numbers everywhere, whereas that was just, not that it was like a training drill, but the ball just moved so efficiently by Freo.
Yeah, well, they won those long down the line plays, and they were able to sort of shape and drive to the corridor.
Yeah.
With, you talked about roles and system, you could just see it like, that contest, that what people they probably don't identify with, that watch the game, is that when players are around the contest at an aerial play, they're role driven, and Fremantle were just so efficient. That's why they look so slick. The West Coast, as good as they've been around pressure, they couldn't get their hands on them.
Workmanlike, according to the dictionary, like or befitting a workman, skillful and well executed. From the late Middle English, 1,400.
Well, there you go.
So it was workmanlike.
I'm more at your definition. I know what you were talking about, Jared. Workmanlike is like just cracking, roll the sleeves. That's what I was thinking too.
I'm prepared to always pull out the dictionary if required. Thanks very much to Brett. Thanks for a great call too. My 3 kids support the Blues, Hawks and Freo, so 2 out of 3 ain't bad. That's from Brett in Canberra. This is a good shout from Marcus in South Melbourne. Judd McVeigh, has he quietly become one of the recruits of the season? And can we say that Freo have the stingiest backline in the AFL?
Oh, they've definitely got the stingiest backline, haven't they? They're rock solid. I love watching Pierce play. He's awesome. Didn't have a huge number of turnovers, but just every contest he was getting a fist in there. Took a couple of really strong one-on-one marks, but he's the general back there, and then Lukey Ryan.
They're just well organised.
So well organised.
You know, their aerial intercept game, they know how to protect the line of the ball, their synergy.
They play a pretty proactive.
Yep.
That's why the West Coast mids and forwards are kicking it into just a pack of players every time, because they're so quick to, drop off the opposition who's not in a dangerous position.
Sometimes it's the risk reward, in terms of you take that ball off the line, you might open yourself up out the other side, but it asked the question of the defence, and they were just so strong line of ball that they were just always kicking to numbers, West Coast, and they were so proactive, as you said, in the air.
It's official too. It's not just the fields, but in points conceded, Fremantle, the stingiest in the competition now after 6 games, conceding just 379 points. Next best, the side that's top of the ladder in Sydney, 397, and Collingwood, 463rd best with points against. Now, I know that hinges a lot on who you happen to play, but
they both played West Coast in the last couple of games.
Well, that helps in that front, and it also helps in points scored. Let us never consider that as well. But Fremantle have played on the way through Geelong, Collingwood, Adelaide. They've also had Melbourne, Richmond and West Coast, which helps.
Well, Melbourne's not really in that bracket anymore, are they?
No, that's what I'm saying. So, Melbourne maybe at the start, they won by 48 points. It was a good result that time. Sydney have had Carlton, Brisbane, Hawthorn, West Coast, Gold Coast, GWS. So probably a stingier effort from Sydney when you compare the teams, but nonetheless, they are a very, very good defensive unit. I'll get your thoughts in just a moment. The votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year, and of course for today, they just move straight across to the Christian Medal, which makes life easy for everybody. But first, let's head down into the Eagles' rooms. Mitch Turner's got Elliot Yeo with him.
Thanks, Clint, here with West Coast Eagle Elliot Yeo. Elliot, not the result you would have wanted, as you're waving to your daughter who's coming over, but good to be back in the side.
Yeah, it is. It's good to be back. Obviously not the result we wanted, but a lot of the key metrics we went after, we actually won. So, hello, Bubba. Look, it's obviously one of those things where I reckon our skill execution going forward probably really cost us at times, and just a lack of inexperience with our composure probably cost us.
And go ahead and pick up the bub who's got the daddy shirt on. Obviously nice to be back out there with the guys. Probably felt at half-time you let some chances slip, but you were still in the game?
Yeah, you always feel like you're in the game, like you never say never. So, unfortunately though, frustrating that at times that we probably had stages where we did actually, have control of the game. We just didn't execute and make the most of our opportunities going forward. So, frustrating game because we did win some KPIs that we did go after, and at the end of the day, we just couldn't execute going forward. And I think the entries that we got were really, really good, but we couldn't hit the scoreboard, sadly.
Contested possession and clearance numbers are pretty good for you as a team. You matched it with them and beat them in a lot of those areas, as you mentioned. Was that the biggest focus coming in as a midfield group? Is they're so good in the contest, we just got to match them and try and beat them?
Yeah, that's obviously one of the things we go after, but then there's plenty others as well that come with it. And sadly, we couldn't actually execute on a few of those things as well that we went after. So we wanted to own the corridor. I felt like they kind of ripped us apart in that. And, even though we won the contest, they were probably a bit smarter with how they went forward and used the ball. So, really frustrating. But, we'll learn from it. There's some positive things that come out of it. But we got to go back to the drawing board and get better.
How did you feel getting through the game, coming back in?
Yeah, it felt good. Obviously, the first quarter was a good blow and it was pretty hot. So, once you get your cobwebs out, then you just kind of get into it and roll through. So I got through unscathed and just continue to tick the boxes and build on my match fitness and continue to build on there. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks can start to play a bit more time on ground.
You've swung a lot. You've swung around a lot this year, your whole career pretty much. You've played everywhere on the ground, basically outside of ruck.
Yeah.
But no Jack Graham for an extended period. Obviously, Dev Robertson out for the season, which is a bit of a blow. So basically mean you're going to be in the guts for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, look, I'm not too sure in terms of what my role's going on in future. He kind of chops and changes here and there, and I'm happy to do whatever he wants me to do. A little bit more stable the past couple of weeks with what I'm doing, but, anything could happen. He might be able to tap me on the shoulder and say, hey, we might need you down back this week, or we might need you deeper forward, or we might need you full-time mid. So whatever the team needs, whatever it presents, and I'm happy to do.
Elliot Yeo with us here from the West Coast Eagles after the tough loss to the Fremantle Dockers. Looking at the group down back, you're obviously a senior player, so it's good to ask you about a lot of players around the ground. Ruben Jimmy again stood
Fantastic.
up. It's a really, really tough task against Josh Tracy, and he was brilliant.
Yeah, he was. Rubes was really, really good. He probably didn't get the accolades that he deserves. Look, I think he's probably one of the most underrated players going around in AFL football. So he's coming up against some very, very good players, and he just continues to get the job done for us. And fantastic player, ultimate competitor, winning on halves every contest, and I thought he was really, really good today again.
Sharad Wellingham mentioned on the call and during the week that, Sharad, you obviously know very well, but he mentioned he'd love to see the time when Ruben can just start monstering players because he doesn't have to play above his height and above his size, which he's had to do for the last 18 months, really.
Yeah.
You're looking forward to that day when he gets the chance to, have a few other big key forwards who have developed and are there to help him out?
Yeah, absolutely. But look, unfortunately, he's the alternate team man, and sometimes he just gets a roll done and he just continues to get it done. So, yeah, look, he's been playing fantastic for us, and I do look forward to the time that he can be able to monster players when he's playing probably a bit more third tall. But, look, we'll just have to wait and see and plug some holes until then, but he's doing a fantastic job doing it.
Happy with where the team is at the moment. He won 2 games. Obviously, you'd like to be a bit more competitive in a couple of them. The Sydney one was tough. You're in it for about a half against Geelong, but kind of happy with the progress you've made this year as a team so far?
Yeah, the form stacks up, I guess you could say. Like the Sydney game, obviously, I reckon they'll go pretty deep. They're playing some really, really good football. Geelong stacks up as well, their form. So we're with them for a half. And yeah, Freo. So they're top 4. And form stacks up really well again. So yeah, we've played some hard teams. We've been in it at stages, but yeah, look, it's. I think if you had asked us at the start of the year, we'd be 2 wins, and we'd be here where we are at. And in games of football against some really, really top competitive teams, we'll take that. There's still some frustrating elements in it that we could be a lot closer, and we could have won some games if we had been able to execute and go forward and be a bit smarter with the ball. But we'll take where we're at the moment. But we need to get better, and we need to get better pretty quick.
There's positive signs earlier with some of the young players, and good to see you back out there as well, Elliot. Sorry about the loss today and the result, but as I said, things are looking on the up for the Eagles going forward.
They are. Hopefully we can continue to build from here.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well done to Mitch Turner downstairs with Elliot Yeo. One of the more interesting celebrations after his goal as well. The Wiggles playing out on the speaker system and the hot potato celebration. Yeah, I reckon every parent straight away knew exactly what that was. He's a new parent too, and congratulations to him as well, Elliot Yeo. Full time in Derby 62. Fremantle winners by 56 points to move back into second on the ladder. 14-13-97. The Eagles 5-11-9. How well am I going? 5-11-41. And we need to get the votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year. Jared Schofield, Sharad Wellingham. Who's doing the duties?
1 vote.
1 vote, yes.
Nev Amos.
Jai Amos with the 1.
2 votes for the Glendenning Allen medalist in Clark.
Okay.
And then 3 for M. Reid.
Oh, okay. Controversial. Why M. Reid above Jay Clark? Defend yourself. Justify yourself, everyone.
Scully, I think, thought he was a little bit more damaging forward and creative. I wanted 3 for Clark, so
You've thrown him under the bus.
Straight under the bus.
Pick the gravel out of your back there, Jared.
I know maybe didn't have a touch in the second quarter, I think. So he based it on 3 quarters. No, I just think when the game was there, right in the balance early, Murphy, he stood out like a beacon. He got going in the third when Fremantle had to respond as well. But
also, and Clark, I'm not joking. Clark had a lot of kick-ins, so I think that Murphy probably earned every one of his 26 touches, whereas 6 or 8 probably. How many behinds did West Coast kick? 11. Yeah, 8 of them would have been kick-ins from Clark. So it was probably a more rounded game from Reid, but Clark was awesome as well.
You talked about polish throughout the game as well. The Eagles didn't have, and Murphy Reid gets more of his touches in the front half and was a big part of that.
Very
for the Dockers,
creative.
probably. So that's a big difference, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Also, let's not forget that Hayden Young, I think, had 57% game time in the previous third and still won.
Yeah, that's right.
True.
That's right. Oh, yeah, it was an awesome game.
It was an amazing game for, 3/4 of time out there on the ground. How far away is Brandon Starcevich? Asked Nick of Kalgoorlie. And this is a good one. And could the Eagles look at Jacob Blight in the mid-season draft? I've looked straight at Jared Schofield when I've asked that question at Subiaco.
It's an interesting one. I love that one.
No, he's no good struggling.
No,
Leave him alone.
He's a very good player and they could do with him, but my mail is they're not interested, West Coast.
Okay.
And that's come from a couple of sources. So they're not interested, apparently, which I think's madness because I think he's got the capabilities to be playing at the next level. But at the moment, we missed him today at Waffle, so we just need to get him out there. But no, he's definitely an opportunity to play, or get drafted mid-season.
It's a tough position for you, isn't it? You can't talk about too much in case
he's
going, hang on.
He's, of course, playing at Subiaco, which is where Jared is coach for those listening around the rest of the country. So he's in a tricky position, which is why I put him in it by asking him the question.
Yeah, no, he's very well driven. He's, like I said, he was touted from a few recruiters as probably one of the best players outside playing in the state league out of the AFL. Probably a little bit unlucky to be delisted, but yeah, definitely could be something that West Coast could look at.
Brandon Starcevich, by the way, officially is 4 to 6 weeks with the calf injury.
Harry Edwards might not be far away. He's been back training with a helmet, so there's one they could get back. He's been out there with a helmet on, so that's a good step that he's actually been part of drills and stuff, which is normally takes a long time if you're going to miss a fair chunk. So he must have recovered pretty well from those. He's had a few, but he must have recovered pretty well from that concussion and head knock. So Harry Edwards is one that they might be keen to get back. I mean, they weren't too bad, the keys. I mean, I know Amos got on the end of it, but that was...
Having him down there does allow Jinbi to go to the second key forward. And I think that's what they'd be wanting, hey?
Well, when teams have got a 3-pronged attack and Jimmy takes out one, they'll just bypass and go the other one. Remember a few years ago when McGovern... Or maybe it was, I think TB McGovern was out and Tommy Barrass was playing at the time. And they literally just dragged Tommy Barrass away and made it a one-on-one in other areas. And, if they had another key position player, it would obviously help Jimmy in that role.
Next week, there's probably an okay one for them because St Kilda don't really have a massively big, dangerous forward line. They kind of forward line by committee with how they try and get their goals without Max King there. So not a bad matchup for the Eagles. Maybe a winnable game there.
Well, West Coast they do have Joe Shanahan that can go back. I know he's played as a +1 behind the ball. He can go back if they really wanted to, if they felt like they needed some sort of aerial sort of representation and, play the 2 rucks, bring Flynn back in, play Bailey Williams forward. So they've got some options to obviously go after. It's just whether they think they need that.
On the text line, Rick from Margaret River, who always texts in on 0437 774 774. Thanks, Rick, for getting involved. Mr. Schofield, Esquire, nailed it. A lack of individual stardom, but an all-around organisation and collective effort. And I didn't want to make mention, this is Rick, not me, of percentage, but we'll take it, says Rick, and I understand absolutely why he would. West Coast, as we heard from Mitch, St Kilda next up. That's the early game on Sunday at the Docklands. Fremantle on Anzac Day, Saturday night against Carlton here at Perth Stadium. It is one of their
one of the things that the footy club, Fremantle Footy Club, should be very proud of, the way they have the Len Hall Memorial game. It's an outstanding evening and a good game of footy as well, and what will be a very, very big Anzac Day. Just repeating the results earlier: North Melbourne by 75 over Richmond, Melbourne by 2 over Brisbane, and Fremantle by 56 over West Coast. For the Eagles, it's another loss by 50-plus points. It's now their 43rd loss by 50-plus points in 5 years. So we talk about the green shoots, and they're certainly there, but what next other than those potential moves about Shanahan maybe going back? What else can West Coast try? They've been beaten in pretty much every major stat today. I was having a quick glance at this as well. So they won contested possessions and they won ground ball gets. But in every other stat, uncontested possession, marks, tackles, intercepts, first possession, clearances, hit-outs, disposals, Fremantle has won them and won them convincingly. What does Andrew McQualter have to do to get more out of this side, or is it just an issue of patience for Eagles and their supporters?
I think it's patience. They've got to get to work just on the fundamentals, like getting the skills right and the ability to execute them under AFL pressure from, we're speaking about a potential top 4 side here. So they're going to be under huge pressure from a side like that. But the ability to perform at AFL level against anybody requires elite fundamentals. And I just don't think that that's what they have available at the moment.
Like, having a bit of insight, if I'm being honest here, is that you compare the half-back line of Fremantle versus West Coast and the ball use. Duggo didn't have a great day using the ball, turned it over 3 or 4 times. Brady Hoff doesn't like to make up the hard kicks. Ruben Jimmy plays deeper. These guys don't make the game up like a Clark would, a Ryan would. So that can sometimes hinder your offensive play, especially when you're building up from the back half if you lose field position. So I think, back to your point, Sharad, around patience. Patience is definitely has to be there for the younger type players, especially the young key forwards and Duff Tyler. Archer Reed's still young. You got Shanahan. Physically, they're not the Tracys, the Vosses, but they'll get there. So they had their moments. Like, they still had 50-odd inside 50s, so they still had their moments. At least the numbers are telling you, okay, they're getting enough looks inside 50. They won the contested possession. They won, even though it was a low tackle game. Clearance-wise was pretty even. Last year and the year before that, the numbers were like you get 38 inside 50s for West Coast and you just got no chance of trying to score. So at least the numbers are showing that they're doing a lot of the right stuff. But it's just finishing it's the end product. So we talk about the polish or the fundamentals. It's just finishing off their work. And then what happens when you're young and I suppose trying to build towards a Fremantle type side is it dents your confidence. You have so much territory, you have so much time in the front half, and all of a sudden there's one play and they go through and they score. And it's deflating. It's deflating not only for the players, but I dare say the coaches go, geez, I wish they could get some reward for all their hard effort. So that's the sell that obviously Minnie and the coaching staff will go to work on, is that show them what they're doing really well. How can we make it better? And it could be one basic fundamental kick, not executing or just maybe not taking that grab. But yeah, it was definitely an example of Fremantle doing that today for longer periods of time and at the right moments. But they've just got to be patient. The coaches and the players and the supporters got to be patient with it. But at the same time, the leaders out there, the small senior players, have still got to be as polished as well, because they're the example to the younger fellas.
But they're not. They're not able to do it at the moment.
Exactly, that's right. They've got to work on their fundamentals too. And this is the one thing I'm not behind closed doors anymore, but having seen guys before, sometimes you're limited with how much you can train. I saw it with Oscar Allen. Oscar Allen couldn't train. He trained one session, and then all of a sudden your craft and your confidence within your craft as a key forward goes, but he's doing it up in Brisbane.
He is. It's amazing. Good luck to him as well. Outstanding to have both of you with us for Derby 62. Jared, Sharad, thanks very much for being part of it. To Mitch Turner, to everybody else. Jace Gabriel back in the studio, to Akash Fodadar downstairs, to a cast of thousands. Rach was along as well to help us with socials. To Tristan, who was pushing all the buttons to keep us on air. That wraps up our coverage of round 6. Don't forget,
Monday, AFL tomorrow, Ben Cameron and Corbin Middlemass, and across here in the West, extra time from 7 o'clock. And we're back on Thursday for the Bulldogs and the Swans. Clint Wilden on behalf of everyone saying bye for now.